What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
I'm doing good. Just checking the stream out. Actually, I listened for the first time in a long time to that intro because usually I have it off and like got in the mood, so to speak. And I just feeling jazzed, man. Eric's got a new camera, and I thought that was super cool. And yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah.
You know what it is with me is I have this like Canon, EOS camera that's usually right in the middle of my screen, and I think this thing is huge, and I can't fit it anywhere else.
They said they're hearing static when you talk, Wes, for some reason.
Anyway, you fix that. I'll tell me. So this huge camera is right in the middle of my screen because I had this big monitor. I can't put the camera anywhere else. If I go up above the monitor, it would be like me looking up at the ceiling. And so I've been dealing with this for like, a year like this. And I got sick of it. And Mateo had this little cool, it's called the OBSBot Tiny camera. And it's like this big. So it's tiny right in my screen, doesn't take up almost any space. And it's 360 tracking. And it's like AI controlled, voice tracked. So I can like tell it to track me and it'll track me. I can like, have it zoom in and out. Like if I want to zoom in and out, I can just go like that and it'll zoom in.
Oh god.
And I can just go like that.
Oh wow.
And it'll zoom out.
Loser sign. What the heck? That's
right.
cool.
I get zoom and then I can it has like even voice controls too. So
That's
like
cool.
I can say track me. And then now it'll
suck me.
I
Can
heard.
you hear me now?
I want to do that. Can I do that?
Can you guys hear Wes? I can hear you. I think that's cool. My only concern is what if the like AIs, what if you catch it recording you like in weird like times?
It's something weird is going to happen because they got these new Ray-Ban cameras that can just live stream from your camera, and guaranteed somebody's going to forget or not forget and like just do something like really weird. Like somebody else was saying, like, what's the weirdest thing somebody's done in pass-through so far? And I'm like, well, if nobody's had sex in pass-through yet, then that's the one that's going to like light up the internet. Like that's the one that like the video is going to go viral. Somebody's going to have sex in pass-through and put it on video.
Hey, hold on. I guess let's just capture Discord, Wes.
No. You don't need to do that.
Okay.
I fixed it. You might need to check my levels and make sure that it's loud enough in OBS. But it's a problem with NVIDIA broadcast for some reason. Like within the last, what's it been, about 2 weeks now, Eric, that I've been getting this crap, and I can restart the whole thing, like, and it'll fix for a while, but then after a while it goes to shit again. But we got it now. I'm going straight from my mic now instead of
literally
using the NVIDIA thing.
Literally, like we'll be working for Impact and we'll go from one meeting to the other, and like Wes will just like click on one channel to go into another channel, and all of a sudden his audio it was fine in the one meeting before. He just clicks to a different channel, and all of a sudden the audio is all gone.
How fun!
Yeah.
That I say that life is exciting, good and bad, and that sounds very exciting, Wes.
Without the bad, there could be no good.
That's true.
It's two sides of the same coin.
That is very true.
One of the many philosophical ideas that we discussed this past Friday when we streamed what might have been the coolest fucking stream I've ever done in my life. Dude, it was so awesome to hear they live stream on Friday. Like, so Friday, for those of you who don't know, was the 7th year anniversary. They live on PlayStation VR, and subsequently,
there's a quiet.
Random chance
makes you remember your own heart beating, your own body quivering. How many different ways are there to lose yourself?
Oh man, the audio on that, I guess, on the trailer. everybody's gonna be freaking out. Here for a second, Wes. I guarantee. Okay. See, it's catching up. Here, watch. Here it goes. Hey, everybody, it was my fault. We're good now. Wes, start over. I'm so sorry.
No, I was just saying, this past Friday might have been the coolest stream I ever did. My annual Here They Lie playthrough just happened by chance to line up with the 7th year anniversary of the game launching, and I caught the creator on Twitter kind of putting it out there that he still loves the game and that people should check it out. So I did something I've done a couple of times in the past. Um, and I just shot the guy a DM and said, "Hey, I'm streaming all the way through your game, doing full analysis. If you want to check it out, here's the link." And he's never ever responded to me before until this last Friday. And he was like, "Really? That's so cool. If I wanted to join, how could I do that?" And I was like, "Well, look, man, we could pull you in on Discord if you want to join and do some commentary and let me know if all of my theories are bullshit or if they're anywhere near what you were intending." And he was excited about it. He was like legitimately excited about it, and he didn't come on until the second half of the game. So he came on and did the last 3 hours of the stream with us. Join the stream at 2 a.m. He joined the stream. But get this, Ruuts, from the very fucking minute we went live, we had like 4 or 5 members of the dev team in chat taking questions. So the whole time we had developer commentary and Q&A going on, and it was literally the coolest thing I've ever done, and it was so good. It went off perfectly, and man, I couldn't have asked for anything better. It was so great.
It's like a dream come true, right? Like, so let me ask you this: did you get a chance to ask them about? I mean, we've already ruled it out in your mind, anyway. A sequel or anything of that nature. I'm sure that came up because we want more. Although I'd like something a little bit more interactive, but because I was thinking about this as you and Eric were talking about this in our chat about it being a walking sim, right? Just how amazing it is being a walking sim with a story, but no story really in a way, but like a really deep story that you're kind of figuring out as you go through it time and time again. Like you almost don't need any interactions. You could just have it exactly the same, and I would enjoy it just as much, I think.
Yeah, so we did ask him all of the questions. First of all, is there a possibility that we could ever get a remake or even just a refresh on a modern platform with upgraded graphics and maybe some motion controls in there? And I completely expected him to say no, but that's not what he said. He said it's totally possible. And I said, "Well, what are you telling me that Tangent Games doesn't own the IP?" And he said, "No, they don't have it."
Oh my god!
So yeah, that was the cool one.
That is cool.
The other cool thing was I asked them about the project that they've been working on, Eyes Out, which they couldn't tell us much about. Obviously, they haven't announced it yet, but they did tell us a few tidbits, like they've been working on it for 3 years now, and most of the team are people from Here They Lie, and there was even one of them that referred to it as kind of a spiritual successor to Here They Lie, which was super cool. And I couldn't get them to confirm that it would be, that it would support VR. But I don't know if you were still around at this point, Eric, but they pretty much said it without saying it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for that point, and yeah, he said that I he basically said something about like he believes in VR or something like that, but along the lines of like he still firmly believes that VR is a big thing, and he basically really alluded to it, in what he was saying. He basically alluded to it that if he had anything to do about it, he would make sure it was going to be in VR. So
right. He said he couldn't announce anything about platforms right now. But like Eric said, he reiterated that that he very much believes in the technology, and of course, they're in the business of creating immersive experiences for people. And then I gave him like a 5-minute lecture on how I'm going to be crushed if it's not VR. But no, man, it was literally the coolest thing I've done since I ever done this. It just happened to randomly come together on a whim and turned out to be so great. So if you haven't checked it out, people, please go watch the video, share it with your friends. Basically, when I asked him if we could ever get a refresh of the game, he says, you guys keep beating the drum for it, make some noise for it. And he says that he'll push for it on his side and see if we can't make it happen. So,
well,
I thought it was pretty
do.
cool.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I thought it was pretty cool throughout the night. There was probably, I think, 6 or 7 total developers in the chat throughout the entire night. And, there was some that were there from Here They Lie, and some that were there just from the new Eyes Out studio that just wanted to come in and pay, respects. And it was really cool. And, some of the people that were there that are, still at, Eyes Out and they were there from the beginning, Steven being one of them, who did all the art. He was like the art lead on a lot of this stuff. And he had a ton of knowledge about the game. Him and his wife, who both worked on it. And it was super cool to hear some of the things that they had to say. Wes learning new things, in a 12th playthrough is pretty special.
Yeah.
A 12th playthrough and how many commentaries on? I mean, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I said I've played it around a dozen times. I might have played it 10 times. I might have played it 13 times. I don't know. It's around there somewhere. But live or on YouTube, I've done 3 or 4 live streams out of it, and I did 2 pre-recorded playthroughs of it. So I did, it was one of the first games I covered on my old channel, on the Lethal Weasel channel, and I did I did an episodic, pre-recorded playthrough of it, and then later on, after I learned how to edit a little bit and how to kind of remove the fisheye distortion and stuff like that, I did another playthrough to replace the first one, and I redid all of it. So I did 2 pre-recorded playthroughs, and I've done 3 or 4 live streams now. And then I've, of course, I played it a bunch without being on YouTube. So that's it's literally one of the very first games I ever played in VR. It's one of the games that convinced me about VR. Because it was on that first PlayStation demo. It was probably one of the first 2 or 3 games that I played, and just blew me away then. And like Eric said, it's something that every time I play it, I always notice something new, and that's why I love it so much. It's not like a game; it's more like art, right? It has meaning to it, and the more you kind of understand it, the more you start recognizing things. And um, typically I'll in a playthrough I'll notice 1 or 2 things that I didn't notice. Having these devs here pointing things out to me, there was 15 or 20 fucking things I'd never even noticed.
That's
before
crazy.
that
That's
these guys
crazy,
just pointed
Wes,
out to me.
because I thought you were you are the expert as far as I know, and they're pointing out shit. I mean, obviously they're the devs, but that must have been super cool to actually learn something and look at it from a different perspective, because it is art, and that's what you do with art, right? You look at different angles, different perspectives. That's what good art does. So
Yeah, it was great. And I got a lot of validation out of it, a lot of confirmation of things that I previously was just speculating on, although there were things that I didn't really know about. There's a pretty heavy Greek mythology influence on it, and I'm not an expert in Greek mythology, so obviously I didn't recognize any of that stuff. But now that I know that, I can kind of study up a little bit, and then next year when we do it the next time, maybe there'll be more stuff to point out to everyone.
Well, hopefully their game, if they don't bring it into VRs, on Steam, and it's in Unreal Engine, and we'll put it in VR, and we'll play it there as well.
I'm pretty sure that the stuff Corey does is typically Unreal stuff. So I think Here They Lie's in Unreal. I think the game he did before that, which was Spec Ops: The Line, I think it was an Unreal 3 game.
Nice.
So yeah, I would expect it to be an Unreal game for sure. Actually, I know it would be. It has to be an Unreal game because it's being backed by Epic Games. Epic Games is the bankroll for it. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, then that's awesome. It'd be, you said on the original Here They Lie. That's a PlayStation exclusive, though, right? So.
Yeah. Sony published the game. They bankrolled it, and we asked him. It was funny, Ruuts. He came in right before we got to the red light district. So he came in at just the perfect fucking point to ask him, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, what was going on, dude? What was going on in your mind?
Yeah, it was great. So again, I highly recommend everyone check it out. 6-hour live stream from Friday. Again, my favorite thing I've ever done. And I don't know. He said he'd be back next year. So I don't know if that means he's going to be watching or if he's going to come back on or what. But super cool, super gracious, super appreciative that anybody even gives a shit about that game anymore. And yeah, just a great experience all around.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's free VR real estate. Can I remember my very first VR game? My very first VR game was PlayStation VR Demo Disc Volume 1.
Wow.
So it had
the good stuff.
It had it had Rush of Blood on it. It had like I said here, They Lie was on there. What else was on there? I think they had Star Blood Arena on there. There was a bunch of cool stuff on it, and I mean there was a bunch of like so okay stuff like Wayward Sky was on there and Tethered was on there. No, there was about 10 or so games on it. But there was a Resident Evil 7 demo on there called Kitchen, which is really awesome. I don't know. That was the first thing I ever played. I can't remember what the actual first game I ever played was, but I'm sure it was one of those. I'm sure that after I played that demo, I was like, okay, I got to go buy these games now. So yeah.
Mash, what was your first game? We might as well go through our first games real quick.
Like first VR game?
Yeah, with the very first game you ever stepped foot in. Like I'm not including First Contact, fucking Robot Dance, or whatever each iteration does on that. But that's not the first game.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, why are you trying to
you go first? Let me think about it. I have to think. Yeah,
I can't. Mine was Minecraft. Minecraft, which I don't even know if you can go into that anymore now because that was PCVR, and it's got kind of weird for a while there, but super cool. I remember going into the Minecraft, like I was looking around and it was like Minecraft, a TV, and I was running around a guy in this TV, and I thought this is a big deal. Like, and then I looked closer and I thought, oh shit, like everywhere around, I was in a Minecraft room with a Minecraft TV, and I was on this Minecraft throne, and it said press Y and go in the TV, and I like went in, and I was like, oh fuck, man, like that was like so cool. And then I was in Minecraft, and then I started to see Mira in my cave, and I got pissed, and then I got figured out how to get rid of the Mira with the spud tool, and then I was happy again. So yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, that's one of the first things I noticed when I went back into my PlayStation VR 1 this week was like people complain about Mira now. Like
no,
you go back to that thing, man, and you'll see the Mira and you'll see the SDE and you'll see all of it, bro, and you'll know how good you have it these days.
Yeah, I don't know that I go back to play any games. Although I think if I was gonna, there'd be one I'd be able to go back and play for sure. And that would be Astrobot, because I don't think that the visuals look any different. It still looks as phenomenal as it did back then, and it still looks phenomenal now.
Yeah, I remember specifically that game as being one where you're like, where did the screen door effect go? Like, this is like super crisp, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird because it seemed like it looked better than it should, even years after it came out.
That's crazy.
Anyways, let's get this thing underway here and say hello to our friends in chat. We got a lot to get to here, and I don't want to burn up too much time in the intro. So, Chrome Colossus, hello. Island Kara is here as well. Thank you for coming by. VR Spry guys here. Chris H said the kitchen demo sold me on VR. It got me so pumped on RE7. Yeah, kitchen demo was cool, man. Like. It wasn't from the game. It was just something they built in the engine, and it was awesome.
Will we get a remake of RE7 for PSVR 2? Because I would pay money, like $20 for it. Like I just want to see the crisp, foveated rendering and as good as Resident Evil 8 looks with 7.
You'd hope so, man. You'd hope so, right? Now, with that said, us being PC guys, we've always got the Prey Dog mod, which is pretty awesome. So. But yeah, I agree. I would pay for it too. Zale 2318 is here. Awesome Tatum's here. Lee VR. It's free VR real estate here as well. Salute the Game Cat here as well. Gabriel 004, Assassin 32 VR. True Prophecy 22, all here. Hooked Worm, the Hoosier, Game Cat here as well. Matt Marjanovic here. Philozix is here. Den LVR is here. Who else? Mr. Lord Beavis. Hello. Techno Glitch is here. Traveling Man 3775. My wife is here as well. Grimrock's here. Chatty's here. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, is here. Says I'll have to repeat everything. No, you guys know what day it is and what episode it is. If not, look at your screen. J Devil's here. Mind Jive is here as well. Let's see who else. Anybody else? Mal. What's up, Mal?
I know Paradise Decay was at the very top saying he was stopping by but going to bed.
Yeah, of course.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. Sanador, the Game Tiger. What's up?
Couple slippies
here. Lee VR, always some slippies, bro. Scrolling. Midlife Kid is here. Zeke VR is here. Rex BK09 joining us as well. Ryan B. GameCat Chicago. Radio Runt. 12 the Backlog GameCat. Here, Tatum. Did I say out of Tatum? What's up, Tatum? And that is as far as I can go. Let's see who the slippies were. As always, we've got a few like Kevin Tesk.
Trevor Mitchell.
Trevor Mitchell. Regos Pantaleon says his first VR experience was Waltz of the Wizard on HTC Vive. I just played Waltz of the Wizard for the first time this past week on PlayStation VR 2, and I was actually surprised. I didn't think that I would be very impressed with it, but it was super well produced. Like, it was super polished. There's a lot more content in it now. They've updated it a few times, and I had a good time in it. Actually, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good back in the day, even. I mean, even without the new content, but it was pretty decent for an older title.
McManus 007 is here. Tipsy Sonic here, and I think that might be all of the slippies. That's all that I see. Thanks for slipping in, guys. If I missed you, I apologize. Thank you for joining us. Super excited to be here and excited that you all have decided to come by and say hello as well. Anyway, as I mentioned a moment ago, we have a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. So let's get this show on the road.
Because I know what I like. I keep it rolling from the side to the side, from the left to the right, from the day to the night. Pick it up. I'm all about the hype. 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 Pick it up, 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 pick it up. I like to dream and make it glow in the dark. I make it real 'cause I'm so walk in the park. So fast, I'm as bright as the stars. Yeah, I'm bigger than Lash, and I'm off of the charts. I'm all about the hype. I'm all about the hype. I'm all about the hype. I'm all about the hype.
So MetaQuest 3 launched this past week. I think it was on Tuesday, or no, it was Wednesday. It was Tuesday. Tuesday, most of us started getting our headsets in through the various trucks that we ordered from, and a lot of things have been said on YouTube over the last week or two about this headset. Disclaimer right off the top: this is not a full review. It's going to take probably a month or longer for us to really have time to put it through its paces and really kind of come to a firm conclusion on where we kind of stand on all the different things with it. But even over the course of the last week and the limited amount of time I've had to put into it, I do feel uniquely qualified to come on here and tell you what I think about a few things and sort through some of the marketing bullshit that has kind of been pervading YouTube over the last week. And for the most part, the coverage of it's been pretty good. But I don't know about you, Eric, but I have noticed that there has been a little bit of hype train ism going on here, and there are some things that are pretty much bullshit that are being said about it. What's been your overall impression of the headset so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking the headset. I think it's really good. I do think it's a step forward for Quest 2 users. It's not as big of a jump if you're a Quest Pro user, but I think it's a good step forward. I think it's it depends on where you're looking at it. Like, if you're looking for PSVR and a standalone headset, that's not what this is yet. You know what I mean? We're not there yet. It's getting there, but we're not there yet. If you're looking for, mind-blowing, mixed reality experiences that are full games, we're not there yet. But if you look at this, the whole package of a standalone headset that's got a way better form factor. It's got a way bigger sweet spot. It looks better through the lenses. It's got two panels instead of one single panel. It does have a bigger FOV, not huge, but it is bigger. I mean, I think it's a big upgrade. And if you have gone in yet and seen some of the games that have taken advantage of the upgrade and the new chip, I think you'll get a good sign of what we will see maybe in the next year, 6 months to a year. So, overall, I'm super happy with this headset. I think it was done really well. I mean, there's a couple of misses, but I mean, I think they're small. Like I kind of hit it for a couple of things it doesn't have, I guess, which is eye tracking and face tracking, which I would like to see. But then my other hit with it is maybe the price is a little high, and so you can't have everything, right? So, I mean, to me, I give this a headset like an A plus, man. I think it's a home run for Meta on this one. I just maybe wish the price was a little bit lower because I think it's not going to have quite the mass adoption maybe that the Quest 2 did just because of the price point. But
yeah, and I think even if they hit the price point, a little bit lower, it's probably going to be a little bit slower to sell than Quest 2 because there are so many Quest 2s out there. But what you did point out something here that I think is an important point, and that is it's only going to get better. This is like literally week one baseline, and developers are just now starting to roll out updates, and that's going to be a gradual process over the next year. I do think that if you're a Quest 2 user, this is a substantial upgrade. This is a way better headset than the Quest 2 is. And to be honest, I think $500 is a fair price for the base model. I'm a little bit disappointed in having to pay $150 to buy up to higher storage, which surely will be necessary within the lifespan of this sometime to have that higher storage. But they put some nice little goodies in there to kind of pad it a little bit. If you don't have the biggest library and already on your Quest 2, they're giving people 6 months of that Quest Plus subscription, which is a cool little nod. Although, again, it is a bit high. I would have liked to seen 450, 550, or 500, 600. 500, 650 is a bit of a wide gap.
Why? I mean, we know why. It's 128. Do you think people would be inclined, like you, even what you're saying? Do you think you would have been inclined to get the 256 model if it existed right off the bat? Because 128, we all know that's not enough. I think 256 is enough. I think 512 is super like overkill enough. But they know 256 is enough, and they want to roll out a new model in about 6 months or a year with a 256 model. That'll be the new model, right? People will want to upgrade. It's what they did last time. I don't know. That just kind of irritates me. But that's meta.
It's
That's
weird. It's weird how they're doing it now. When they first introduced account sharing, so that you could have multiple players on your same quest, it was cool how it worked because you could install it on the account of the owner, right? And then you could go to a secondary account, and anyone, any of those shared apps that were in there, if you clicked on install, it would just immediately light up. It wouldn't re-download the app because it's already installed on the machine. Now it works differently. So every account has a fresh install. So if you have like Asgard's Wrath, for example, and you want everyone to play it, everyone has to download it and install it four times on the headset. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
That's really stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why they did that.
I can see like accounts. Well, I guess they are separate accounts, right? So, I don't know. That's crazy.
I agree with you though, Wes. I think the headset is worth the $500 for sure. Like I think it's definitely like this is what they should be charging. This is what they probably should have charged for the last headset. It's just that when you go, like for me, like I said again, I think it's worth it, but it's when you go above that 400, when you hit that $500 mark, it's a harder decision, especially right now with the economy not being great for people. And it's just no longer a no-brainer. Like at $399, I think it's a no-brainer that you upgrade from Quest 2 to this headset. At $500, it's just harder for people to do that. Now, I still think it's a no-brainer, and you should. I'll recommend to everybody that if you can afford it, then you should. You know what I mean? It's not my place to tell you whether you can afford it or not. That's for you to figure out. But to me, it's just it's that little bit of hesitation where you go, I don't know if I can do it for that price, and that's where I think it hurts it a little bit.
Yeah, and that's kind of where these rumors start to come in, and what we've been hearing for a couple months now, that there's a Quest 3 Lite version coming sometime next year that'll be scaled back. Nobody knows what exactly that means, but it's reportedly going to be a little bit closer to the Quest 2 price point. So time will tell what that means in terms of hardware, but I think that will probably be when they really try to push to get the masses in there. Waleed is now a GameCat, specifically a White Tiger with the $5 Canadian, says Quest 2 sold well due to a super cheap price. At 500 plus add-ons, it now becomes a bit for VR enthusiasts, who I recommend getting a PSVR 2 if for gaming. Yeah, well, it's interesting, right? Because people ask, which headset should I get? If you're a beginner and you're interested in gaming. If you have a PS5, then yeah, I think that getting a PSVR 2 is a no-brainer. If you don't, you talk about an enthusiast price point. I mean, now you're talking at like $1,000, $1,100 to get into PSVR 2, and with so far, all we've seen is very limited first-party support for it. So again, it's a very individual thing. Person to person, it's kind of hard to make a blanket statement and say I suggest this headset or that headset. To some people the wire is a big deal. Other people don't care. Some people the portability is a big deal. Other people don't care. Some people that battery life is a big deal, and other people.
Some people the best display that you're ever going to put on your face it matters. Pancake lenses are a thing, right? So. Anybody that's had a PSVR 2 on their face and never looked through a pancake lens doesn't understand the difference. You know what I mean? Like it's not anything except for not having seen through those lenses. They're just so clear and so amazing. Like you just said, huge sweet spot. That makes a huge difference too. Just no matter where you look, you're seeing clarity. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic, right? Because they decided to put a manual IPD adjustment on Quest 3, but it don't fucking matter anymore. It doesn't matter what you have your IPD set to.
That's true.
It just works because the sweet spot's all over the lens.
Yeah.
So like,
Did you test it? Like I tested it. I can't tell the difference between the. I went down to a 63, and I went all the way up to as high as I could get it to go because my dial is really like tight. Like it doesn't really want to move very easily. But I think I got it to like a 69 or 68 or 69, and like I couldn't tell the difference that the whole it didn't change anything.
Yeah, it changes the field of view just a tiny bit, but as far as like clarity,
Clarity is nothing.
It's just as clear on any setting to me. And you're right, it goes up to about 69 on the number there. So let's start with visuals then. This I think is a big win, and maybe the biggest win for the headset is the clarity and the visuals in the thing. The pancake lenses obviously put the sweet spot all over the thing, but I think the bigger kind of story here is the screens in it are super high resolution. Um, Basically, it's like having a Reverb G2 but standalone, right? It's that level of clarity. I wouldn't say that it's sharper than that, or at least it hasn't been in standalone applications. The sharpness has been on par with my G2, which for anyone who doesn't know is probably the second most highly resolute headset that I've tried on. I will say this though. Here's something that I keep hearing people say. People keep saying that there's no screen door effect. And for those of you who don't know what screen door effect is, that means pixels. You can see the pixels in it. People are saying that you can't see the pixels. You absolutely can see the pixels. You can see them everywhere. It's super fine. Like it doesn't look like a screen door like the old headsets did, but you can tell you're looking. It's not if you try on a Pimax Crystal, you can't fucking see the pixels at all in it. Like it's just smooth. There's no texture over it. But in this headset in Quest 3, even though it's super sharp, you can absolutely tell you're looking at a screen. You can see the pixels in it. So that's going to be the first thing I call BS on.
I think what people are saying though is like what you would consider a screen door is when you see that grid. When you can see that grid, that screen door.
So you got to come up with a new name for it. What is it?
You don't see that. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think when you're saying different. Screen door, like screen door, like if think about like the HTC Vive Pro. That thing had screen door. It looked like you were looking through a mesh cloth when you
all those
when you
old
looked
ones
at that
did.
thing.
Rift S had screen door.
Yeah.
I'd say that Quest 2 pretty effectively knocked it out though. Like
I mean, it was almost gone. And it's just saying now that's completely gone. Like if you're that, I think, like you said, I think Ruuts is right. You almost have to call it something different now because there is no screen door, and I think that's what mainly people are talking about. But what you're saying about seeing pixels in the display is a different. I guess it feels like it's a different thing.
Yeah, you can see pixels. Barely. Like I said, it's like my G2, man. It's incredible that this thing even runs on mobile hardware. Like it's nuts just how crisp and resolute that it is. But it's great. I found it to be a little bit dim, and that may be where I'm used to playing on PlayStation VR2 mainly. It's so bright, the PSVR 2. Moving over to Quest 2, it seems a little bit dull. But so does my G2. When I go to it looks a little bit dull. But the colors are good. They're solid. It is super sharp, and it looks good visually. In terms of standalone games, the vast majority haven't had specific Quest 3 upgrades yet, but there are some that have, and some of these games look really, really good. Obviously, Red Matter 2 being the gold standard, that looks like a fucking PCVR game. Like it looks like you're playing on PCVR. I played some of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. It's better, but you could still tell that you're playing a standalone version of it. Like the geometry in the game is still super like blocky, and the levels are not as populated. Like if you go play that game on PlayStation or PC, there is just debris everywhere in the levels and in the houses. There's tons of zombies. Not so much on my Quest 3. Although you can definitely see that the textures have been upgraded. It is a better experience now than it was before.
But you'll get that with the games here forward that are built from the ground up for 3, right? Or at least so. Yeah.
Yeah, the games are definitely starting to look better, and we're gonna talk a little bit about one specifically here in a little while that looks great in the headset. What's your experience with like Quest 3 upgraded titles, Eric? Did you have a chance to check any out?
I checked out I almost said Resident Evil. I checked out Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, and I did Red Matter 2. But I didn't notice a ton of difference in Red Matter 2. Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners is a drastic upgrade for me. Did you try Red Matter 2? Because they said it was there was an upgrade, but it felt. I mean, it already looked amazing to me. So, and I had been playing it on a Quest Pro, so maybe I didn't see as much of an upgrade. What did you think? Did you try that one?
That might be it, because they did do a pro update for it. But I definitely noticed a substantial improvement in lighting in the Red Matter 2. And I didn't play Saints and Sinners Chapter 1, which was the one that they were kind of advertising as having the huge upgrades. So that one actually may be more noticeable than the Chapter 2 that I played. Other titles I've seen video footage of, like Resist got some significant upgrades.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They
I didn't hear that. That's a good title. I like that one.
Some lighting and reflections in that, and it looks way better now. Into the Radius got an update. There's a pretty good list of good titles that got good graphical updates, and I'm working on an article for XR Update, so keep an eye on there tomorrow or maybe the next day, and we'll have a list of the best Quest 3 updated standalone titles for you.
Hubris is pretty well upgraded.
Yeah. I tried to get in Hubris before the show today, but it just stayed locked on the screen where they compile shaders. The first time you boot into a game, it just and it stayed on that thing for 5 minutes, and I was just like,
and Wes is like, I got a show to do. I don't have time for this shit.
Right. So like I said before, we're going to have impressions rolling out over the next month or so as we have more time to play around with it. But yeah, I did see some video footage of Hubris, and it's definitely got some very noticeable updates with especially with the texture resolution. Looks way better now.
Traveling Man 3775, he says, one of my favorites, I almost forgot. Other Gunship Forge has got an upgrade. I haven't had a chance to try that one yet. I should have went into that one today, but I got stuck into a couple other games that we were playing today for lots of hours.
Windlands 2 got an update for Quest 3. Yeah, I was talking to the dev about that the other day. He says it looks so great now, and that's one of my actually one of the games that I still play on standalone is Windlands 2, because I like to play with my kids. So it's cool that got an upgrade and seems a little bit more like PC now than it did before. Anyway, so yeah, graphically, just A plus on this thing. It's absolutely wonderful. I will say this: I did not get the opportunity to try this on PSVR. I tried, but I had similar issues that I had before. Like, it won't find my PC. I plugged the cable in; it wouldn't find my PC through the cable. I was able to one time get it with the cable to load into Oculus Home, and it was like jaw-droppingly sharp. But as soon as it loaded, it crashed. Like I was only in there for a few seconds, and it crashed out.
Did you get the official cable? Yeah,
I'm going to order it tonight. Okay. Like I was hoping that it was a Quest 2 issue, and then I wouldn't have to buy that cable. But
do you have a USB-C port on your computer?
Yeah, I've got a C port. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, D was using a cord like that you are using, and she was having stuttering issues and connection issues, and she just recently got that cable, so it's been she did have problems connecting at first, but then was able to. So
yeah, so I'm gonna get that cable. I've got a new Wi-Fi 6 router here. I haven't hooked up yet. I'm gonna hook it up, and we're gonna do some PCVR testing over the next couple of weeks, and I'll get back to it. Eric, did you play any PC on it?
I did, but I've only run it AirLink. I haven't run it link cable because my PCIe card, I need new drivers because I switched my motherboard out, and My drivers are gone now for my PCIe card, and I had to go get an external PCIe card to have my C ports, my USB-C ports, because I didn't have USB-C ports on that computer. So I haven't used the link cable at all. I've used AirLink, and it's been awesome. Like I never have a problem with AirLink. I did have a problem with my Quest Pro and AirLink because it was broken in one of the updates. But other than that, I really never have a problem with AirLink, and it's been running perfectly. And I even tried it with Virtual Desktop, and being able to adjust the graphics with Virtual Desktop, you can like really dial it in. I think I'm going to run it in Virtual Desktop from now on, just because you can change so many things in there now.
I heard it looks amazing. I was thinking about starting to play games that way too. Like it even looks better than via link cable, people say.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to do link cable, but for me, for the extra few steps, but with the upgraded, levels of graphics that you're going to be able to get with Virtual Desktop, I think it's worth it.
So, people are saying that Virtual Desktop works good. I couldn't, again, it didn't recognize my computer when I tried to do Virtual Desktop. And with that said, I'm running on a Wi-Fi 5 router in AC mode, and it's come out this last couple of days that the Quest 3 has issues with AC mode. So you have to have a newer router running in AX to get around the bugs that it's having. So we'll definitely get back to that.
I think you're going to be blown away when you get going into it, and with PC, like I think you're going to be like I think you'll quickly forget about your G2.
Well, especially since any limitations that the G2 that Wes has put up with that he won't have anymore.
Right.
The few limitations.
My main issue, like I don't have any issues like graphically with it.
Connection.
It's compatibility for me. Like I want something that's compatible with every game, and that's kind of why that was the big thing that I was looking forward to with the new Oculus headset, is that I would have a headset that would play all the games, all the mods, and I wouldn't have to kind of shuffle every now and then. Which my G2's gotten better about that. Like 75% of the games it's fine in, but 25% it's not. So definitely going to try to get this Quest 3 ironed out just for that. I think it's possible there could be a slight bump visually, but again, I don't expect it to be anything profound. But definitely looking forward to that. Getting rid of that friction. That's what I'm trying to do, basically.
I think it's going to be better. Like I think you're going to go like, wow, this is better, like a lot better.
It was crisp. Like when I was in Oculus Home, it was super sharp, and I was like, wow, man, that is impressive. Like even the colors look better than it looked in standalone mode, which was odd. Like I wasn't expecting that. But I am blown away, and I'll tell you what I'm blown away on. Let's talk a little bit about mixed reality. So I've got 3 things to say about mixed reality here, and then we'll talk about it after I make these 3 statements. One, that camera don't look like that. If you're watching these videos like the one on the screen here, this, by the way, shout out Gamertag VR. This is his footage here. Shout out to him for giving us the okay to always use his footage whenever we want to. So shout out GT. But that camera don't look like that, man. It does not look like that inside the headset. It looks good. It looks better than Quest Pro, substantially better than Quest Pro. Looks better even than the HTC. I forget what it's called. The HTC standalone
XR
came
Elite
out this year. XR Elite. It looks way better than those two, and it looks, it's good enough, right? It's grainy. It's still grainy. Even when I like put super bright lights on and open the curtains, it's still super grainy. It's like watching a VHS of your house, basically. It's good enough where you can read text on the screens right in front of your face. Like it's good enough. That's the first thing I want to say. That camera does not look like that. Number 2, it's all tech demos. Like all the stuff I played is pretty much, almost everything is tech demos. Like it's not, there's no real full-fledged games outside of Demio and a couple others. The third thing I want to say is this is by far the coolest fucking thing that I've played on this headset. I love the mixed reality so much. It's so fucking cool. Here's the thing about it. Even though the cameras don't look like that, they don't have to look like that, because that's not what you're focused on when you're playing a mixed reality game. You're focusing on the virtual stuff. You're not really focusing on your room. That stuff's all in your peripheral. So you don't really notice that it's not super sharp. You notice the fucking things flying through your room or the zombies climbing through your windows. That's what you're focused on. And all that stuff is just as sharp as it is in VR. And people say, like, why do I need mixed reality when I could play virtual reality? Like, why wouldn't I prefer to play a VR game? Well, first of all, um, why do you got to pick? Like, this headset does both. Like, just because you like one thing really well doesn't mean the other thing is worthless. Second of all, I'll tell you why, and it's something that I really kind of discounted and never really thought about. I always thought, Roots, that I always play in my chair because my feet hurt and I don't want to move around. Uh, I didn't know that there's another reason why I always play in my chair. And that is because I can't really be free in a VR game playing room scale. Like, even if I've got a good space to move around in, I'm always holding back. I can't run. I can't move like super fast. I can't punch as hard as I can because I might bust my TV. I might break my ceiling fan.
Like a fish
I'm
on a fish.
Yeah. When you're playing these mixed reality games, dude, you can really go full throttle because you're not going to hit people. You're not going to bust a hole in your wall. You can see where you're at. You can jump over things. You can hide behind stuff that's in your house for cover and shoot around it. And
let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
Because you said it a second ago. Why is, and maybe aside from the depth sensor, why is the Quest Pro's pass through not just as good enough for all these experiences as you? Because I'm not focusing on any of it. And you know what I mean? Like the fact that it's still grainy anyway, because I was seeing Awesome Tatum, and I think it was him or somebody was saying they were interested. They wanted to see if we were going to address this, the fact that it, like you said, it's still got grain to it. It's still not perfect. A lot of people are thinking, from this video and what Meta's been showing, obviously GT's not showing that. He's just showing the video, but the video portrays a better picture than what you're seeing, right? So I would think that aside from the depth sensor, and I don't know how much that plays a difference or not, everything that you just said would be true for the Pro as well. I think the biggest problem is what you started off with, the gimmick problem. And it's not even a problem. It's a now problem. It's a right now problem. This is like week 1. They're going to have shit for this. It's going to have amazing games. It might be 6 months down the road. It might be a year down the road. It's coming. It's just crazy that it's not here on day 1. Some amazing fucking game that is just like, oh my God, you just have to have mixed reality. It's weird that Meta doesn't have this killer app for mixed reality. And we're back to this tech demo gimmick stage on, you know what I mean? It's just,
if this was the only thing the headset did, though, that would probably be a major issue.
Well,
like, if
it's
it was
not
just
even
an AR headset. Like, again, to me, the AR is like gravy. So even if they're just tech demos, I mean, you can the everything else with this headset is so good.
It's
that
just a miss,
having
is
little
what
bit
I'm
extra.
saying. It's not. That
I don't think it's a miss.
It's not that bad. It's a miss that they don't have a killer app on day 1 for Meta, for VR, for people coming into VR. It's coming down the road. How would it not be a miss?
See, but no. I disagree because there's so much small stuff here that anybody coming in now, if you're coming in now and you're just like, this is the first time in VR, you can do almost 100 different experiences.
What about the rest of us that aren't
games.
coming in right now?
I get it, but we are already there. We're there. Like we are already here, and then the AR for us is, again, it's gravy. It's just extra. Like, it's a pretty cool thing that we can't wait to get to, and we're gonna get there. But for somebody who's not into VR right now, and they jump in and there's all these experiences you can do, because most of those people don't want full blown experiences. They want to go in and do little pieces here and there. They want to enjoy it. They want to have fun. So to me, it's going to scratch the itch of a lot of people coming into VR, and for us, the people that really want the deep stuff, we're going to be there anyway already. And
I agree with you, but I still
point.
think it's a miss for Meta. I think if they could have came out on day one and had this fucking killer game or killer app for mixed reality, to this is mixed reality, that would have been amazing. It's not that it makes the headset not good. I'm not trashing the headset. I'm just saying it's a miss for Meta.
Well, let me be clear here. When I say that the experiences are mostly tech demos, I don't mean that they're like the "I expect you to die 15 minutes and you're done" thing. Like Yuki is fucking awesome in mixed reality, and the only problem that I have with it is that it only takes about an hour to play through it. But it does take an hour to play through it. Like there's 10 waves that you go through, and I would have loved to have kept going at that point. And if they had made it, they could have done a full-fledged Yuki game in mixed reality, and hopefully they will. Drop Dead, the cabin is fucking awesome, and the embargo or whatever might not be up on it, so I can't say too much about it.
It's in the video a little bit.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll say to you that is fucking awesome. You've got zombies coming through your doors. You've got zombies coming through your windows. There's waves, like just like it plays just like Drop Dead the cabin. Instead of being in the cabin, you're in your house, and it works the same. Outside of that, you've still got to kind of get the machinery up. You've still got weapon upgrades and stuff that you can find. Like instead of finding them in a box, they'll be over there laying on your couch or something. But yeah, I'm not trying to undersell mixed reality at all. Just because it's at that tech demo stage right now doesn't mean it's not fucking amazing. It's not worth your time. That's where I've spent most of my time this week. Even though I've had all these upgraded games that I could have been spending time in VR, I've been playing mixed reality because it has been a fucking blast to play these games. Now, there's a lot of garbage, right? There's a lot of App Lab garbage that really isn't worth your time. But the good ones are great, and I highly recommend anyone who has the headset take the time to check them out. And I'm pretty sure that most people will agree. Demio, like Demio is Demio, but now again, you can put it on your kitchen table, and if people in your house have headsets, they can stand around it with you. But if not, you can still play with like normal VR players, and you'll see them standing on the other side of your table, even though they're not in your house. Like it's really, really cool. And yeah, it is still in that early stage. There isn't enough market really for developers to go in on a full-fledged mixed reality title just yet. But imagine, if in 2016 people had said, well, this is all tech demos, it's not worth your time. Where would we be at right now, right? I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because of how good it is now. And you can absolutely see where it's going to be in a year, in 2 years. It's going to be incredible. And again, it's a whole nother like layer of depth to the gameplay now because I'm out of my chair. I'm running through my house, and it really is. It's way better than I thought it was going to be.
This is where mixed reality would get me really excited, and this is a ways down the future. I want mixed reality that I can walk like sunglasses, or I can walk outside and I can do Pokemon Go or anything of that nature, like especially going outside. That I think would be super cool. And getting to the point where there's no distinguishable grain at all.
That's going to be big. That's where the Apple headset's going to be really cool, is because it's going to be a lot better with the pass-through quality.
But I will say, the Quest Pros, even like when I went into the Demio thing, like what you said is true. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's GT shooting the basketball or whatever. You're not focusing on everything else. Like Demio, I was focusing on the game and the board, and everything else was just background, right? So, I think it'll be better when it's like completely not grainless, but I think anybody that says that the grain is going to be an issue is probably wrong. So,
yeah, there's still some notable things that I haven't tried yet. Like Eric, I haven't played BAM yet.
BAM is excellent.
Yeah, people
Did you try Synth Riders?
No, I haven't done Sith Riders yet either.
Awesome.
Although I saw what it is, I can already tell how fucking cool it's going to be.
You're gonna love it. It's kind of like Yuki, where you just have it. It just comes through your wall, like that the track that comes at you. It just comes through different parts of your wall, and it's just super cool. I mean, but again, to me, like that, the reason that's why I don't think it's a miss is because I didn't buy the headset for mixed reality. Like if I bought the headset for mixed reality and this is all I got, I'd be like, yeah, this is not what I.
I'm not saying the headset was a miss. I'm saying the opportunity to have a killer app was a miss. That's a big deal.
I'll agree with that.
I
agree
with
that.
I mean, could they have had a killer app? Yeah, but that's
think about
what I'm
Nintendo
saying.
64 releasing without Mario.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, to me, we're picking on mixed reality when to me this headset is not the best parts of this headset. The mixed reality is super cool, but the best part, this is the best headset that's on the market right now. Hands down. I mean, for the price, this is the best headset. This is the best PCVR headset that you're going to get right now. It's like icing on the cake that it happens to have freaking great pass through and awesome mixed reality experiences. They don't have the games yet, but they have awesome mixed reality experiences. So I guess if you were like, man, I'm going to get this because I'm going to go and play every game in mixed reality, then you're going to be disappointed.
Well, if for somebody that's got the Quest Pro and people are telling me this is what I need to get the fucking headset for, it's not enough to get the headset for me.
For mixed reality? No.
Quest
Why would
Pro.
you? You can do the same thing.
Because I'm still hearing people say I should be upgrading to it. And all last week, that's all everybody was saying. And
because of the visuals, not because of the mixed reality. The mixed reality is the same. Like you're not going to do anything different in the Quest Pro or this that you can't do in the Quest Pro for mixed reality, other than the
depth sensor.
The color path through and the depth sensor are going to be a little bit better. But everything you can do on the Quest Pro. Just not going to look as good. You know what I mean? As this. But yeah, but the reason to upgrade to this is because the visuals, because the visuals are better, in VR than, the pancake lenses are better here than the Pro. And I'm not saying you should upgrade. I'm just saying, because I don't think it's that big of a jump. I'm just saying that there are, other things that I would, if I was going to upgrade for, it wouldn't be mixed reality. I would be upgrading for the headset.
No, but you should definitely be checking this stuff out. You shouldn't discount it just because these are tech demos. You should try the good ones. You should try Drop Dead. You should try Yuki. Yuki was so good, and I'll tell you why. So I mapped out like 2 rooms in my house. Like I mapped it out as one play area, and I've got it isn't just a perfect square, right? I've got walls coming out here and just partitioning off this thing and that thing. And the way Yuki works is these portals pop up on your wall and the things start flying out at it from these portals, but they're always moving. Like the portals pop up in different spots, and a lot of the times you can't see where they're coming from. So like I'll be getting shot in the back and I'll turn around and here's fucking monsters coming in from my kitchen and shit. That's fucking cool. And again, my really only complaint about the Yuki thing is that they didn't make the full game available. But Yuki and Drop Dead the Cabin, you should absolutely try out. They're worth your time, I assure you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably check that out. And I saw the Yuki was in the account in there, so
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. You were talking about Demio too, and you were like, putting the Demio board on your kitchen table. I went in and did it last week where I took my entire floor and I expanded it, not just putting it on the table. I made my entire floor of my room the Demio board, and I got up and I walked around the entire board, and it's actually like my floor. And I actually played Demio standing for the first time ever because it was such a freaking cool experience to have this. My whole room was the board, my whole floor of the room. It was huge, and it was just amazing because I could still see everything else in my room. I used hand tracking. I was able to go and pick the players up and move it around, but I mean, being able to walk around and not just have to like pull the table towards you and do all that stuff is just freaking amazing, man. It was one of the cooler experiences that I've done with mixed reality.
Yeah, that is cool. I'll give you that, sir. That is fucking cool. I need to try that.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been my favorite part of the headset. It's been the mixed reality, and you can absolutely see where it's going, and it is going to be a thing when the tech gets better. It's going to be crazy. So good. Let's talk a little bit about the controllers. for most of the week, or for 2 weeks now, we've been hearing people say that the controllers are great. That there's no problem with them not having the tracking rings, and all week I've been using them without a single hiccup. Um, but I didn't really try to play any shooters in it until today. And I got to say, after testing them a little bit, there are absolutely occlusion issues with these controllers. Like if you're a somebody who is like heavy into shooters, is that like if that's your main thing, you're going to definitely notice a downgrade in the controllers from anything from PlayStation VR, from Quest 2, from HP Reverb G2. The occlusion issues in this are very noticeable. What do you think, Eric? Is that a fair statement?
I didn't play a ton of shooters, to be honest with you. I did play Dungeons of Eternity today, and I used the bow quite a bit, and I didn't really have any issues using the bow. But that may be more of like drawing back to the headset problem.
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of stuff where you're like this, where you would have to have one in front of the other. I just haven't and which is weird for me because I usually do a ton of shooters, but the only shooters I've done was like to play a little bit of Gaslers and stuff like that, which is one-handed. So yeah, I actually cannot tell you that I've seen a ton of occlusion problems, but I could see where it would be. I am still a believer that if you can, you should be upgrading to the Quest 3 or the Quest Pro controllers.
I was just gonna say, do you think that they're trying to sell their Pro controllers and push everybody to them because they've given you controllers that are just good enough, and you know what I mean? But then they're like, hey, if you want really good ones, here's these $300 controllers, and maybe they drop them to $200, and then everyone's like, oh God, these are amazing. They're now reasonable. Everybody runs out and gets them, and they should. They are the best controllers out there. But how much money did they save by not including extra cameras and do? I mean, why did they change it in general? Why did they need to get rid of the rings? Why would you make them worse? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I would say for 90% of the things, it's 100% fine. Like I said, I didn't play a lot of shooters. But I think Wes, if Wes is right, and he did, but I would say pretty much everything else you're going to be okay. But if you're a shooter fan, go get the Quest Pro controllers.
But they're worse than every controller that we shit on, that we say is the worst. It's worse than that in that way.
In that one situation with the two-handed weapon that you're aiming down the sights, yes, they are worse. Besides that, they're perfect. So, like I said, in my natural use of the headset for the last week, I haven't had a single issue with it. Using one-handed, guns and like Eric said, shooting archery, there's been no problem with that. It's doing this. When you start to like move left and right, it just jerks a little bit every now and then.
Well, there's no big deal. That's not immersion breaking at all. JS says supposedly Pro controllers don't really perform better than Quest 3 controllers. Eric, go.
That's no way. No way. There's no way, and I'm not knocking the Quest 3 controllers, but there's no way that you can take this controller right here that has two cameras in the front plus an XR2, or it's not an XR2 chip, but it's got a Qualcomm chip in it. There's no way that this is the best controller, period, whether it's inside out tracked or, tracked by base stations or whatever. So, I mean, I'm not killing the Quest 3 controllers. I think they're completely functional. They're actually fine, except for what Wes is maybe saying there's some occlusion issues. But again, if you can go get these, go get them. I mean, I'm going to absolutely be pairing these, with those.
I think you need to do a video, Eric, on occlusion on what. Maybe somebody needs to, because it'd be interesting to see how bad the occlusion is in what circumstances. Because that just might be one. I don't think.
And by the way, I fully expect it to get better. One thing that's obvious about these controllers, and the reason why they work as good as they do, is because they're using that depth sensor to track where your hands are at. So it doesn't really need to see the controllers all the time anymore. And it doesn't see the controllers anytime anymore. I'll give you a nice little experiment to do, Quest 3 users out there. Grab your Quest 3 controller and just hold it up in front of your face, one hand, and just tilt it forward and backward like this. And what you're going to notice if you slowly do this right in front of your face is that during the revolution of your hand, at some point, normally more than one point, the controller will disappear out of your hand. And what that means is it's tracking your hand perfectly, but it's losing the controller. So for most applications, that's not going to matter. As long as it knows where your hands are, who gives a shit where the controller's at? But again, there are those rare cases that are going to pop up for somebody who's super anal or super competitive about shooters, where you're going to notice it. And again, I'm not bringing this stuff up to try to trash the controllers. The controllers are good. I mean, they work really well. But again, I'm sitting here trying to review it and try to be honest and let people know what I found. And this is what I found.
Yeah. And you just got to remember that, it's still software tracked. Like, there's no camera inside of these controllers. So if you get it out of vision of one of the cameras on the front of the headset, it's still software that is trying to estimate where it thinks the controller is. So it's never going to be 100% accurate. But they do get better and better. Think about what the tracking was on the original Quest 1. And even on the original Quest 2, but where we are today, it's not the same. Like it used to be. When it first came out, it was kind of garbage. Like the tracking on the Quest on the touch controllers was kind of not great in the beginning, and they've done a ton of updates to it. So I absolutely think that they're gonna, they'll work on the software. They'll work on, the software trying to especially for occlusion, try and like guess where the controllers are going to be. It'll smooth out. It'll be better for sure. I guess what we're just saying is that, you're still not, there's no way you're going to be better than the Quest Pro controller. You're just not going to be yet. But I think it's definitely fine. I mean, you're going to have no issues with them, other than maybe a couple of small things.
Old Earth asked, would turning the hand tracking off alleviate the occlusion issue? I wouldn't expect that to be the case, but it would be worth a try, and I'll tell you why. It's because if it's relying heavily on the depth sensor to find where your hands are at, the depth sensor pulses every couple of seconds. And you can tell this when you do your room setup. You can tell it in a couple of other games that rely heavily on the depth sensor. It's got a pretty slow pulse on it. And now that I think about it, that kind of correction time when I was doing the occlusion test, that was around the same gap in time as that pulse of the depth sensor. So maybe disabling hand tracking or disabling that depth sensor and trying it, that might actually make it track just the controllers, and it might actually solve it. That's a good thing. I'm glad you brought it up, and it's something I'll try to remember to test next time I'm in there playing around.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see because a lot of things changed. They got rid of the rings. Their whole tracking system's different. They got rid of cameras. So it's hard to say that it's gonna get. And we know that Meta's good. Their software always gets better, but how much better will it be? And really depends on how. I wouldn't say anal. To me, there's nothing, and this is why I love the Pro controller so much and why I rave so much and why, like, a lot of times in shooters, I have a hard time playing PlayStation VR 2 if I run into occlusion. I just, there's nothing more immersion breaking. People talk about immersion breaking with controllers and all sorts of different things, but your gun drifting off to the side is not, or fucking, like fighting it is not immersion breaking at all. To me, that's a big immersion breaking scenario. So if that's going to happen in a shooter, when I'm aiming down the sights, if I'm playing a lot of shooters, then yeah, that would be a problem for me. And I would probably run out if you can afford it and get the Pro controllers because they do alleviate that problem. So
can you imagine going out and buying them right away? So what is it for the 512?
It's about $1,000. And
yeah,
honestly,
because it's $300 for the controllers.
It's the same price as you could get the Quest Pro. And if you aren't, you'd be better to get the Quest Pro if you're a face and eye tracking person, which most people aren't. But if you want the better headset, then getting the 3 and the controllers would make sense. Like, you know what I mean? You're getting the best of both worlds. So.
Here's the thing, though. You can go on to Facebook Marketplace right now, and it's a fucking fire sale on Quest Pro, bro.
Yeah, get them cheap just for the controllers.
Yeah, $500.
Then go sell the headsets.
I don't know. I have a hard time buying. I have a really, really easy time selling headsets because I take care of my stuff. I'm very reluctant to buy a used headset. You know.
Yeah, you got to be careful for sure. Like anytime I've ever bought something used, it's got to still have the box in it, and I've got to be able to test it before I hand money over.
Yeah.
So yeah, be careful for sure.
Zell2318 says, but isn't the playtime on the Quest Pro controllers like 2 hours? That is a myth. Is a myth. I've used them for like 10 hours.
10 hours. Like seriously, I'll charge them and then they run forever. So
let's talk about battery life then. Because I've heard a lot of people like dinging this thing on battery life and talking about how fast it's running out of batteries. I think there's two things at play here, and the reason why people are being so critical of it. One, I think people are used to having their fucking Bobo straps on and getting 4 hours out of their Quest 2 and forget just how quickly that thing runs out of batteries when you don't have a battery plugged into it. Secondly, I think a lot of people are playing mixed reality right now, and mixed reality absolutely zaps the battery, dude. Like you're going to get an hour and a half out of this thing playing a mixed reality game.
It's doing the game and the cameras and everything, right? It's doing everything.
Yeah. So mixed reality does burn the battery up pretty quick. I won't say an hour, but yeah, 90 minutes. You're looking at your.
Is that even really a problem though with Bobo VRs? Even if you don't have like Dee doesn't have a strap, but she had it in her pocket with a adapter and was going through like 3 of them or something. You know what I mean? Like literally playing for like 10 hours straight. So, I mean, if you don't have a battery, it's a problem. But
yeah, that's exactly what I started doing. The first couple of times, I didn't put a battery on it, and it ran out really quickly. After that, I kept the battery in my pocket, and it was just fine. I never had any kind of battery issues with it at all. Sound is notably better. Like I will say that. The only time I've found any need to put on headphones now is when people are doing other shit in the room with me, and I just don't want to hear that. But for most of the part, the in-strap sound is pretty good now, isn't it, Eric?
I think it's better than it. It's definitely better than the Quest 2. It's definitely got some more bass to it. It's got speakers on the top of the strap and on the pieces that stick off that the cloth strap comes to, where the speakers are. It's got one on the top and one on the bottom. So it actually gives you more of that spatial audio feel. So I think they're amazing. I think the speaker, like I haven't even thought about putting any kind of headphones on or earbuds or anything at all. Like to me, it's like it's almost the perfect audio, other than the fact that you can hear some things in your room. Like you can hear somebody talking to you or something going on in the room. But the actual audio itself of the Quest 3 is really, really good.
Yeah. I would say that it's more than sufficient. It's good. You don't need to find a solution with this, and that's the first time you can really honestly say that. Like it's pretty good.
Mickey Bear says he used his Quest Pro controllers for 12 to 14 hours during Game On Expo without charging them.
Yeah, he did.
There you go.
That's crazy.
I've streamed. I did a 12-hour stream with my Pro, and batteries never ran out.
Yeah, if they were $200 instead of $300, I would definitely be thinking about picking some up. $300 is a little steep for me. What would be an occasional, upgrade? Like again, for me, the controllers that are with it are good. Like most of the time, until I tested them and made them break, they were fine the whole time in natural use.
It'd be cool if we can get to the point where they can make a cheaper controller. You know what I mean? And you can go out and get it. Like if they could start making these and selling them, separately, and they can make them for $100 or $150. I mean, I think that would be amazing.
Why can't we use our old controllers? This is one thing that's always pissed me off about Meta is they've been using essentially the same controller since Oculus CV1 with just minor changes to the tracking on it. And for whatever reason, they won't let people bring their controllers with them. That is so shitty because they don't sell the fucking controllers except for the Pro ones. They don't sell the controllers by themselves. And, they're talking about bringing out this light version of 3 next year. And a lot of people are speculating that they won't have controllers with it. Like, they better let us bring our fucking controllers with us for that headset, or else I'm going to be awfully loud.
Yeah, I wonder what it is that you can't pair your Quest 2 controllers with this headset.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
using
it's still
IR slam tracking. It's the same thing, man.
Yeah, it's still all light tracking. It's just instead of being in the ring, it's in the face and then in the handle. So what's the difference that you still couldn't pair it though? Like if you can pair the Quest Pro controllers, why couldn't they set it up to where you could pair?
Because they want you to buy new ones. Yeah. You know, like it's got to be a marketing thing or a money thing, dude. Like, and to be fair, like they gave you controllers with the headset, and you don't, you know, if you don't like them, you can get the upgraded version. And I would suggest if you have the money, to me they're worth it. You know, and I agree with Wes. At the same time, they'd be a hell of a lot more worth it for $200 than $300.
Yeah. One more thing while we're on the controllers, I forgot to mention is they do have the upgraded haptics in them.
Oh yeah, true haptics, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't quite put them on the level of the PSVR Sense controllers, but they're a pretty noticeable upgrade from the basic rumble in all of the previous generation VR controllers.
Like, you want to hear? Have something blow your mind. Sorry, I don't want to. Just in the menus, just the way when you're scrolling up and down, it feels good, right? Like the ticking. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a step up. This is definitely a next gen VR controller for sure, for a next gen headset. So,
I think we're being nitpicky, right? I mean, we're just picking a small thing out. But like I said, most people won't even have an issue with the Quest 3 controllers.
Zell3 wants to know how the triggers are. The triggers are triggers, man. They're normal triggers. They're not adaptive like the PlayStation ones are.
But they feel good. They don't feel like cheap or like, you know, sometimes you see like if you the Pico 4 or like Nolo or some of those Chinese headsets, the triggers feel like there's no like tension in them at all, and that's not the way so they don't feel like. So I get the question though, because some of those cheaper controllers, man, they just feel like there's nothing there. And these do. They feel really good. They feel like there's tension and there's pull on them. So
they're pretty light though, weight wise, right?
Yeah, the controller itself. Yeah.
I know. I was noticing. I actually did pick it up. And did it pass the Beat Saber test, Mash?
I would have no idea.
Somebody in the chat a moment ago said that they're not very good for competitive Beat Saber. I forget who said it. I did read that.
So is that the killer app? Like, do you think if it be like how lazy is Beat Games that they still didn't get a mixed reality update ready in time for launch? Like, would that been the killer app?
Maybe.
Like, everybody loves Beat Saber, right? Like, would that have been like the seller, or was that?
Well, how cool is Synth Riders? As cool as Synth Riders is, it would be equally cool to have blocks coming through your wall and stuff. And how hard would that have been to do on day one? Unless they're like doing something like even more, you know. Hopefully they're doing something.
So how does Beat Games, who's owned by Meta, not get a mixed reality update out in time for launch? Like, I don't get it. Like, what do they do?
They didn't get the headset in time.
Man, they're busy. They're too busy putting out more Lizzo soundtracks. Woo!
Well, this is the reality, man. They don't need to do anything. That thing is just like a cash cow, and it's just sit back and let it. You know, what they're doing is they're buying the rights to songs and bringing them in, and that's it. You know,
bring me some Audica, man. I want some.
Oh Audica. God, well, that's a game that got abandoned way too long ago. That would have been really good to have some cool songs.
Yeah, the parent company got bought out by another company. So.
Bummer.
Couple more things really quickly. Field of view. Is improved. I've heard a lot of debate around this. Some people saying they can't tell a difference. Meta, of course, claiming that there is a significant difference. I will tell you that there is a significant difference. It's definitely better than Quest 2. It's more on par with like G2 and PlayStation. Maybe not quite as wide as PlayStation, but it's close. It's in that ballpark, which is good because this. Eric, was one of my biggest complaints about Quest 2s. It always feels like you're wearing binoculars. No longer the case.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I thought maybe it was just me. And like I said, I don't think it's as it doesn't feel as much of an upgrade with the Quest Pro, but I thought the same as you that for me, it's a substantial upgrade of field of view over the Quest 2. But a lot of people were saying, well, I don't see it. It's not there. It's slight. It's not worth even mentioning. Like, I thought it was definitely better. And so it was good. It's good to hear you say that, because I really thought maybe I'm just missing it.
No, it's good. I did have a little weirdness in the field of view when I had the facial interface pushed all the way in. So the facial interface you can adjust in and out. There's 4 settings on it, and it's meant to give you more space for glasses. I started it out all the way in, and when I had it all the way in, I don't know if I was seeing the edge of the screens or what, but like the edges of my field of view had a weird shape to it. It wasn't just like, concave or whatever. But I just backed it out a couple millimeters to that second setting, and now the field of view is perfect in it. It's a nice wide field of view again compared to Quest 2. It's a pretty substantial bump, and now I don't feel like when I'm going into the Oculus headset that I'm being blinded anymore. It's definitely better.
Could it be that if somebody has if they're on the opposite, if they went in, they just went all the way as far out, it would end up being less FOV. That's why you're having people saying it's more, it's less. Kind of like with the Quest Pro, if Eric and I, if we tilt it and you can get a really good FOV if you tilt it and put it up on the back of your head, just by how you angle the headset, right? So, and of course, if you use that, bring it closer to the lenses closer. So,
yeah.
I had the same thing that you did, Wes, with that little, I don't know what it is. If you get too close, you actually start to see the lenses don't look round. They almost look like they're like octagon shaped or something. There's like a weird border that comes around them. And I had to do the same thing. I had to back them back a little bit, not much. I think I only went like 1 click backwards to where I was a little bit away from it. And then you get the full view, I think, of the lens at that point. I almost think when you're too close, I don't know, you're not getting the whole view of the lens with your eyes.
Yeah, I had the same thing in Quest 2, by the way. Like when I had it set up to where I was absolutely as close as I could be, I could see the edge of the screens in it. It was squared instead of round.
Chris H says, you know who else likes a facial in her face? I mean, interface.
My mom.
Yeah, she does a lot.
Last thing I'll talk about here is comfort. So first impression of it, what wasn't the best. I put it on with that jock strap and that cloth facial interface, and I'm like, man, this feels like putting on a stock Quest 2. But where you can start to tell a difference is over time. So if I put a Quest 2 on and start playing, within 20 minutes, the thing starts to weigh on your face. You start to get a headache. It's not comfortable at all. With Quest 3, none of that. Like you put it on, there's a bit of discomfort because of the elastic pushing the stock facial interface into your face, but it's not heavy on your face like Quest 2 is. So over time, it didn't get less comfortable over time. It stayed at that baseline through the whole playthrough, through the whole experience. So there is a notable increase in comfort here, in my opinion. Definitely looking to upgrade the facial interface. I'm probably looking forward to the VR cover more than I'm looking forward to the Bobo strap.
I don't know. Let me
GT
show you the
said
VR
that
cover.
interface was perfect. He said, or he loved it.
Not for my face.
Here's the one that VR cover is working on. Like this is, and I've had this one for a little while, but I couldn't show it because they didn't even show it. They didn't know if these were going to work or not, to be honest, because they didn't have a Quest 3, right? So they went off of like a lot of things that they saw. So they're like, please don't show these because we don't know if these are going to fit or not. But if you look at them, these are VR cover. They're basically they're cloth. All that does is go over top of the current one that's on there. So I don't even know if I'm going to like these. Like I like the PU leather style of facial interface. So I don't know. I'm going to try them. I haven't even put them on yet, but I'll try them. But
I just want them to fit like in a way that doesn't feel like it. Like the ones that are on there that feel like they're falling off all the time suck. And sadly, it's Bradley says, you're seeing the counter-rated edges of the display.
The counter-rotated edges.
Yeah,
I knew as soon as we started talking about displays, Brad would be like, yeah, I'm here, guys.
What's up, Brad?
So yeah, Eric, what you're saying is that the early products that are coming from VR Cover are just the hygiene covers, right? The
Yeah,
little
they're just
cloth
cloth.
things that go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're just cloth.
I
Regular
could care
cloth.
less about that stuff. I do think that they're probably going to work on a full facial interface replacement kit, but it's probably going to take a little while for them to make it because this is with the way that it slides in and out. This is a very different facial interface to anything that Meta has done before.
Mm.
So it'll probably be a while before we get like a full on leather, synthetic leather facial interface replacement. But my point being is that I probably dislike the facial interface on this thing more than I dislike the strap. Like it's, I mean, it's fine, but it's the Quest 2 facial interface. It's rigid. It doesn't conform to your face at all. It just kind of sits there and doesn't have a lot of give to it.
I hated the Quest 2 one. Like I thought it was really, really bad. Like I didn't like it at all. Like I couldn't wait to get it off and get the VR cover PU leather one on there. I'm like in the middle with this. Like I don't care. Like it's not bothering me right now. The strap is bothering me right now. I hate this fucking strap. Like you can say all you want about the strap. It's still the same fucking strap. Like the only reason it doesn't bother you as much is because the headset is actually is better balanced. It's closer to your face, so it's not hanging off as much as the Quest 2 did. But if you took this head strap and you put it on a Quest 2, you'd fucking hate this head strap too. This head strap is garbage. Like I don't understand how people are like, yeah, it's good. You don't need to get anything else.
It's new.
You need to get something else. It's terrible.
Well, okay, if they don't want to get something else, then they can justify it in their mind that it's okay. Not that obviously Wes is planning on getting something else, so that's not his deal.
Yeah.
My thing is that I was gonna ask you guys what your thoughts are because I saw Beardo Benjo's. He had a video and it was basically saying that Meta's got a accessory problem, and I watched it and he's got a lot of good points, and I've kind of actually said recently that it was a good thing, all these accessories for Bobo, and it is good for these companies, but for the consumer, there's a lot of shit out there that you don't have to get them, but everybody knows you're going to get a new strap, you're going to get a new facial interface, you're probably going to get a Bobo battery or two, MASH or anybody that already has a M2 or M3 will just get the upgrade kit, but you're getting something. It's a lot of extra money, right? At the end of the day, I mean, you're getting close to like $1,000, and I really like the interface. I didn't at first for the Quest Pro, but once I put that top strap on, I really love the way that the display hangs in front of my face. I wish they would have gone with that, or maybe somebody will design a strap like that can allow people to use that same. I like it. So, what do you like? What do you think about that? Oh, sorry.
I think the Quest Pro is okay. It's I put that top strap on and that kind of fixed the whole thing. It just sucks that you have to do that. Like I paid $1,500 for the headset, or you would have. I would have, and. You shouldn't have to go. You just hate it. You know what I mean? Like this headset's $500. Like and this head strap sucks. Like you can put a head strap on here, and you don't have to sell me a new one for $130. Like to me, that's where the accessories are like out of control.
That's
like
crazy.
The $129 for, I think am I right with that?
Yeah, for the
somebody
one with the battery.
check me for the battery. $129 for an Elite strap with a battery is outrageous. Like that's crazy. You already have me paying $500 and then $650 for the 512. Is that what it is? And you're gonna charge me $100, and the head strap sucks. You're gonna try and charge me $129 for a head strap when I can go get a Bobo for $50 or $60 or $70
and swap batteries out. It's infinitely way better. The Bobo is a way better deal, and it doesn't break on you, and you don't support Meta. But I guess you're in the
I agree with Benjo. I didn't see the video, but if he went in there and said they have a problem with their accessories, I agree. Like their charging dock looks pretty cool, but that thing's outrageously expensive too. And then they're selling these upgraded jock straps. So you can get an orange one and a blue one for another $50, and they still suck. Like you just giving me the same shitty strap. You just made it blue. Oh, I know, it's so orange now.
If you're a
son.
Bronco fan, well, no, if you're a Bronco fan, put your head under the table, please. You should.
But I mean,
Bronco
like,
fans.
it's just weird because we're nitpicking over stupid things like accessories when, we should just be celebrating how freaking amazing this headset is. And,
like
you
Brad
have to make
Quest 3 is the best HMD you can get right now for $700.
100%.
For sure.
100%.
For sure.
And I like that he says HMD because it's not just the best standalone and it's not just the best PC. I mean, it's the best PCVR headset you can get for under $1,000. It's the best standalone headset you're going to get. And you can get both together. I mean, to me, this is right now, today, in today's landscape, this is the pivotal headset, unless you're talking PlayStation 2, which we can have a discussion on what you should buy if you have a choice, where you're going. But to me, this is the headset that you should be going to get right now. There's not any other headset that I would recommend to you to go get over this one right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as far as the head strap goes, I could live with it if the facial thing had some real nice fluffy padding on it and it didn't dig into my face. I could almost deal with the jock strap if it weren't for the fact that it touches my ears. Like why can they
hate
not
that,
figure
right?
out how to make a head strap that doesn't go over your ears? Like they want you to wear this thing like down on the back of your head, like you would wear a PlayStation head strap. This is different than the Quest 2 jock strap, which was meant to sit on top. This one I have to wear the wrong way because if I put it where they want it to go, it goes right over the top of my ears. And that just, I mean, these are supposed to be geniuses coming up with this stuff, but for some reason they can't figure this one thing out.
You forgot.
I will say though,
Zuck's a robot. He doesn't have ears, so they
doesn't
have to
bother
put
him.
them on after he made the strap.
We should talk about though the weight of it and just that the fact that it's so weird that it feels so freaking light now, even though it's as heavy, even a little bit heavier than the Quest 2.
Yeah.
But God, it feels so freaking light. Like literally, I would if I didn't know the fact that it was heavier or just as heavy, I would be like, no way, there's no way it is, because it feels so different. And I really think it's just the fact that it's so much closer to your face. So the Quest 2 felt like a brick on your face because it's stuck away from your face about the size of a brick, right?
That's
so
true.
everything was way out in front of you, so the weight felt more. Here, the point of contact is much closer to your face now, so it doesn't feel like it hangs so far off the front of your face, and that's why I think it feels lighter. Like, I wore this thing for hours today, and I really almost forgot I had it on at one point, and that's with a shitty strap.
Yeah, and it is a significant difference because, like I said before, Quest 2, 20 minutes, and that thing's digging into your cheeks. You adjust it, it digs into your head for a while. You adjust it again, it digs into your cheeks for a while. None of that here. You put this thing on and it stays where it's at, and it feels the same in an hour that it felt right when you first put it on. And I think that's probably the biggest, most profound difference in having pancake lenses. Even as as cool as it is to have that sweet spot all over the lens, I think the comfort of it is kind of the biggest deal, because even if I never get a VR cover or a Bobo strap, I'll use this headset for the duration of its life. It's good enough right now. So.
Yeah, you're gonna put one on there though.
For sure.
Sadly, it's Bradley said he wants to get a diamond crested Quest 3 stock strap. Make it happen, Meta.
Let's do it.
Come on, Zuck, get on it. And
just walk around naked.
Exactly. And he also says he wishes they could move the battery off of the HMD off of it. And we talked about that a long time ago, Wes, right? Like having a puck system or having a lot of that weight, or at least even the CPU battery.
It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder how much thinner this thing would be, because they did a teardown on it like yesterday, the day before. Somebody did a teardown on it.
Yeah.
And the battery in this thing is huge. Like, most of the space in the visor is the battery.
Wow.
So yeah, you would think maybe they would move it off to the back of a strap or anything just to keep it off your face like that. But
then it's permanent though. That's the only thing, right? Like here, at least now, it's not like the Pico or the Quest Pro where you can switch out and put something else on. If you put a battery in the back of it, then you're stuck with whatever strap is on it. And then, then it's there. So, I mean, at least this way.
Unless they make it so that you can put a different battery strap on it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would have to be proprietary at that point. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, they could make it
No,
proprietary. They could make it, with a common interface. That would really be up to them what they wanted to do with it.
yeah.
Anyways, I agree. I think for somebody who has nothing, starting from zero, this is probably the direction that you want to point them in. If you have a PlayStation 5, then there's definitely a discussion to be had.
What if you're Scion? Would it be worth it for him to pick him up? Because I mean, even what you said, I guess he can't play his baby game anymore, or his game that's his baby, anymore because it's not around anymore, right? But he loves tracking. Would it be worth it for him to pick it up from a CV1? Is it a better, big enough upgrade?
For him, like he could go on Facebook Marketplace right now and get a Quest 2 for $100.
I know, right?
Oh,
So,
shit. That might be the play with the Quest Pro controllers, right?
Yeah,
Damn,
there's no excuse
$400
to be on CV1 anymore. Like that's ridiculous.
What if he could? He could just go get a Quest Pro now, like you said, for cheap.
Yeah,
You go get a Quest Pro for $500.
Yeah, they're all day
might be the
long.
way to go.
They're out there. There's people waiting. They're like, Quest Pro, 500. Might not be as easy to get, but I'm sure they're out there.
Wes, where are you going now? Where are you going if you are? What are you recommending if you don't have a PlayStation and you're a new buyer?
Oh shit.
Of
Do
VR?
I have a PC? Do I have a PC?
That's a good question. Let's say no. You don't have a PC.
All right, so now that's an interesting thing because honestly, and I hate to say this, and it's not a cop out, it's just being honest. You should probably wait till February to see, because I'm going where the games are at. I'm going to go where the games are at, and we don't know yet where the games are at. Before I would have said, PlayStation hands down, because they're going to be the ones that have the high fidelity, highest quality games, right? Like, and we know that that's probably still going to be the case, but we don't really know how good the Quest 3 exclusive games are going to be right now. Like, they might be really, really good. So honestly, if you don't have, if you have a PC, go Quest 3. If you have a PlayStation,
what if
go PSVR 2.
All
if
right.
you have
So
nothing,
all right, I'm holding you to it. What if you got
Yeah.
both? What if you don't have VR, but you have a PlayStation 5 and you have a PC that could run, good PC, good graphics card?
Yeah, you got a good enough graphics card to run the Unreal Engine mod that's getting ready to drop.
Yeah, you got a 30 series card in your PC, but you've never tried VR before, and you want to get into VR. You have a PlayStation 5. Where are you going?
It's tough. It's tough. If we're just talking about current gen games, then it's PSVR 2 hands down. But you've got that back catalog on PC, right? The problem is that PlayStation didn't bring along the PSVR 1 games with us.
That would make a big difference.
That would make all the difference.
Yeah.
It would be a no-brainer if those games were playable on PlayStation VR right now. Like, there would be no question about it.
But some of the best games, actually most of the best games that you can play in PlayStation VR 2 or 1, you can play in PC VR mods through the Resident Evil mods. And then, of course, who knows, with everything that's coming out. To me, the modding changes the whole scope of everything. Because I literally played Hogwarts Legacy not the day it came out, 3 days before it came out, or whenever they dropped it, you paid extra to play that extra time for streamers, right? Basically is what I always look at it as that way. He had it available day one of that. So you were able to jump into VR in a AAA game that just came out. Like, that's changing everything to me. Well,
the mods are the only thing that really make it a question, right? Because nothing new really is coming out for PC anymore. There's a great back catalog you can fall back on. And again, that's a big advantage over PSVR 2, where you don't get that back catalog from PSVR 1. But going forward, obviously PSVR 2 is going to be a better platform than PC if you don't consider modding, which is absolutely part of the equation. It's a big difference. But I would say this is what I would say, and this is the honest answer for me as someone who has both. There's no way that I wouldn't have both.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
if I'm a guy that has a PC with a 3080 in it, like I can afford 2 headsets. So like that's what I'm doing. I'm getting both.
It's a hard question now. Like it's a hard question if somebody says I can't get both. Which one do I go get? Like I don't know where I'm sending anybody right now. I don't know because in one hand I've got like mixed reality and standalone and no wire and I can play it on the PC if I decide to and mods. But then the other hand I have some of the best experiences in VR that I've had this year ever with a haptics, with the OLED lenses, with the facial haptics, with the haptics in the controllers and the adaptive triggers, and everything that goes with it of just console gaming and not having to fuck around with that regular, with standalone VR or PC VR. PlayStation just works. You plug it in and the shit works all the time, right, Ruuts?
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. How many times do you go to even hook up a standalone and all of a sudden some don't fucking work? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I don't know where I would put somebody right now. Like, that's why I ask you the question. Because like literally right now, I know that everybody is like so down on PlayStation because of what they perceive as the lack of games or good games, that it's easy to go, hands down, give it to the Quest because it's just that much better. But man, I don't know. Like it's so close, and Resident Evil 4 is coming. I'm not sure where I would send somebody. I just don't know where.
This is how big a deal it is that PSVR 2 doesn't have the PSVR 1 games on it. There's a narrative out there that's not really true that there aren't any games on PSVR 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of games on PSVR 2. The lack of first party support has kind of created this narrative that there's nothing to play. There's a ton of great games on PSVR 2. But that narrative's there, right? Now look at Quest 3. It just launched and people are going nuts over it. Nobody's talking about how there's nothing to play. There are no Quest 3 launch titles. There's BAM. BAM is the one that I can think of off the top of my head. There are 0 Quest 3 launch titles, nothing at all. Everything that's on it is a Quest 2 port. Everything that's on it is a Quest 2 port, and nobody's saying a word. And the reason why is because everything that was on Quest 2 is available on Quest 3 on day one for free, with many of them being
library.
Upgraded. Yeah. So I think if we could say the same thing about PlayStation, then it's a very different narrative about PlayStation VR 2 right now.
It's close. I mean, I like that it's this close. Like I want it to be this close. Like I want it to be a tough decision because that means that both are pretty healthy systems. I don't know where to send you to. Even though we can nitpick things on each one of them, like I really want to see what PlayStation does this fall, and like I want that to be a successful headset. And again, I've probably 5 of the games that I'm thinking about for Game of the Year are probably on PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and we can't discount that the best version of cross-platform games typically are on PlayStation VR 2. Like
absolutely. Except for Green Hell.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Well, here's the thing: is like that's exactly the point. Is it's all situational. If you said, okay, the game on the PlayStation VR 2 is going to use all the technology, yeah, hands down, it's going to be the better version. That's the question. Which games are going to be? Like, that's why all these ones, like you're saying, Resident Evil Village, all the AAA ones, or even the better studio ones, they're utilizing that hardware, and the games look phenomenal. Every game, there's no reason every game shouldn't look crystal clear on that headset. You know what I mean? Yeah. We shouldn't be talking about soft anymore. We just shouldn't. You know what I mean? The hardware's there, the foveated rendering's there. And so like if you said, so it's going to be a situational thing. And I run into that, like Crossfire, I thought was hands down. Like I can't play that on any platform except PSVR 2. It feels dead. The haptics are so good in that game that it made it feel like shit everywhere else to me. But I can't say that about every game, right? And so there's other games I'll go to on the PC or even the Quest or whatever, and it'll be so sharp and there's no softness, and that's what I'll gravitate towards because the PlayStation VR 2's haptics aren't that good in that game. And so I think what Wes said, having the best of both worlds, if you can, is the best, is the answer. for
Yeah,
sure.
how do you walk away from Gran Turismo and Synapse? How can you not play Synapse? Like there's a game that you won't get the same experience on. Like even if it comes to other platforms, it's not going to be like it is on PlayStation with the eye tracking, and you know what I mean. I think there's more potential probably for PS5 in terms of full-fledged VR games. But again, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in 6 months, a year? Like it's hard to tell. So yeah, it's a good
Yeah, I mean,
question.
Asgard's Wrath is coming. We have, Assassin's Creed, Nexus.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm so excited for those too. Like those are gonna be great
yeah.
games.
It's just amazing. It's some really good virtual reality coming that's going to be freaking amazing. I'm sure I'm going to be on both headsets. It's just tough to point anybody right now. I think it's easier if you don't have a PlayStation, and if you don't have a PC. I think I'm recommending the Quest 3 just because the upgrade to go, you're over $1,000. You know what I mean? How much does a PlayStation go for now? Still 500?
Yeah. Well, you can get them on sale. They do go on sale now, but yeah, it's
550 for the headset.
550 for the headset. 500.
Right now you can go 550 if you want to stay with the stock strap. $500.
The best display. It's got the best display in VR right now, right? For that price point, like Brad said, it's definitely the best headset, and it's an all-in-one. It's mobile, and you can no cords. I mean, I agree. That's what I would lean towards. Would be the Quest 3.
Waleed is now a game cat, specifically a White Tiger, $2 Canadian. If I have a PS5, 100% PSVR 2. Comfort, games, Sense controllers, Resident Evil 4 VR. That's a convincing argument, sir.
It is.
These Resident Evil games are spectacular. The best stuff I've ever played in VR, and I expect 4 is going to be even better than 8 was.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And thank you, by the way, Waleed, for the donations. You're awesome, sir. Thank you so much. Old Dark Journey to Foundation and Foglands looks like that would be awesome for PSVR 2. That's the thing, man. I expect that these games will be better on PSVR 2. I think Arizona Sunshine 2 will be better on PSVR 2. Now, with that said, I don't know that they'll be ready to go. Like they might hit Quest before they hit PSVR 2. They're supposed to launch concurrently, but we've seen it time and time again. These games get delayed sometimes for PlayStation for whatever reason.
That's one coming to Steam too.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'll probably be playing it.
Well, Journey to Foundation, I don't think is coming to Steam. I think it's
just Arizona Sunshine is what I was saying.
Oh yeah, Arizona Sunshine is coming to Steam for sure. Yeah, man. Have you seen? Skiva says 4 better than 8. Yeah, have you seen the footage for 4, dude? Like it's nuts.
What's crazy, Skiva, and I know what you're saying, because the story of 8, and I don't know about 4, because 4 the gameplay was so bizarre the way that, because it was the original anyway. But it's now revamped. The gameplay looks amazing. That it looks really good now. So I don't know if it'll be better than 8's or not story wise, but it definitely looks like like every time they've done it, it looks better. The game engine looks better, and the action looks better. So
yeah, it's good. It's a good first world problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Quest 3 is a big W. It's not perfect. We've outlined the ways that it's not perfect, and don't believe everything you hear out there. As usual, you know where you can come for the straight real talk and come right here for it. But it's definitely worth the $500 price tag. And
go buy it.
If you need a PCVR headset, get it. If you're at all interested in mixed reality, go get it. If you're not interested in mixed reality, you should be, because it's really fucking cool. And I like it a lot.
Well, like Mash said, even that's like the icing on the top of the cake, right? Like you're still getting the best headset with the best lenses, and for the price point. So, and I would lean more towards saying it's a $700 headset than a $500, even though that price point exists. It's just that RAM is just so the hard drive is such a small amount. I don't think that many people picked it up or will, right? So
right, and there are ways to go about making payments if you want to get the larger one. If you have the Amazon card, they let you make payments. PayPal will let you break it up into payments. It's on QVC right now. You can get
Oh
the
shit!
Oh my God, is QVC still a thing?
yeah.
Wow.
You
What
can
is
get
it really?
you can get a MetaQuest right now on QVC. It's the smaller one. It's not the bigger one. You can get the smaller one on there for $500, and they will let you use FlexPay to pay for it.
That's
Wow.
crazy. In today's day and age of the internet, who the hell is buying stuff off of TV still?
Well, it's not on TV. It's on the internet.
Oh, QVC on the internet.
Yeah.
Everything's on the internet, Mash.
Weird.
What's
QVC.
weird?
Anyways.
What's weird is you couldn't definitively give me the Beat Saber test. That is very bizarre. You've had the headset.
Yeah, I'm the
since
wrong
Tuesday.
I'm the wrong guy for the Beat Saber
I
test.
want Mash. I totally thought you and Todd were going to collaborate and do like a double Beat Saber video. But I guess not.
Oh man, that would like I that wasn't even a thought for me. I mean, Wes, did you do Beat Saber?
Heck no, I didn't. Do Beat Saber. Who the fuck are you talking to?
Oh.
I don't need to do Beat Saber, man. I could give two shits about that.
Well,
Paul Bellino with the $10 US. I'm hoping we get a third-party facial gasket that's thinner for the Quest 3. We for sure could get an even wider field
that's
of view.
true.
Loving my headset. PCVR is perfect on it. See, we're sitting here singing the praises of it, and we've barely even played any PCVR on it. Like that's going to be the kind of a big value add if it turns out to be as good as it can be in the coming weeks. So
It's really good.
Again, definitely make sure that you're subscribed and that you ring the bell because there's a lot more to come on this. But right now I want to talk about standalone games because I don't know if you've heard Ruuts, but sometimes, and it seems like increasingly so, these standalone games can be pretty good.
Who are you?
No time for introductions. We need to make sure you don't end up like your colleague. You see those gloves? They're a prototype of the grade, an organic 3D printer, and your best bet to stay alive while you're here.
I thought I was done for.
That's a terminal. Use it to upgrade hand creatures, craft utility items, and improve your grade gloves. We haven't been properly introduced. I'm William.
I'm Everly.
I've worked on something that'll make this whole ecosystem vanish. Presto.
Genotype from Bulwark Games launched this past week as a Quest exclusive. This game is a sci-fi action adventure game, single player narrative driven game. They announced this game a few months ago, Eric, and I was intrigued, right? The reveal trailer looked like it might be pretty cool. And, that's notable given the fact that this is a standalone only. This is a Quest exclusive game. So thanks to the good people at Bulwark Games, we were able to give it a look this past week when it launched. And I got to say, Eric, I was not expecting just how fucking awesome this game is. This is a very, very good game. I don't know if this is upgraded for Quest 3 or not, but it sure to hell seems like it, doesn't it? I only played it on Quest 3, and this is a good looking game, and it's very, very fun to play.
I only played it on Quest 3 as well. I probably will go in and check it out on probably the Pro just to see what it looks like with a different chip, because I do think they did upgrade it for the Quest 3. But I need to get verification on that, but I do think they did. And I just will say this. This is going to be on my list for Game of the Year, I think, so far. It's one of the best games I played this year. Like, I thought it was going to be good, and I started getting in there, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then something else happens. I'm like, wow, that is a really cool twist on doing something different. I'm like, this is really good. Everything from, it's like when they hit everything, the graphics look amazing. The story is cool. The audio is amazing. The haptics are really good. Like, everything,
It's
it's
unique.
yeah,
It's so
yeah. I
unique.
was about to say that it's different than anything else. And when they hit on everything, I'm like, damn, this is good from a developer we've never even heard of before.
Yeah, if this is their first foray into VR, then holy shit, man, they need to be doing seminars for other developers or something. Like, so this game starts you off. You're in a truck, kind of traveling across Antarctica. You're scientist down there doing research work. You kind of hit this sinkhole and you crash into this underground facility, and now you're stuck there. And then that's where the story starts. And you find out that there's some really questionable secret experiments going on in this massive underground facility, and you're tasked with escaping, and there's a lot of technical stuff you've got to get working before you can escape, and the story's kind of a mystery that unfolds as you go. But even though it's like a narrative driven sci-fi game, which I love that about it. Um, it's an action game too. So like they give you these cool gloves at the beginning, and everything that you do in the game stems from your gloves, and all of your weapons come out of your gloves. They're biological, so you're literally like printing like these biological entities on your hands to shoot. And there's a wide variety of different types of guns that you can get. um, it's just so cool how they've done this, Eric, and it's so unique. But it's a very familiar kind of play style, right? Because it's that same action adventure exploration style of game that was made popular in like the PS3 days.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't like change anything. They didn't like, do anything drastically different. You know what I mean? Except for some of the unique aspects of, like you said, the gloves and how you use those things. But the gameplay itself, the loop itself is pretty. It's like what you've seen before. It's an action adventure game that's got a compelling story that's kind of pulling you through it with really cool environments, and it's I don't know. It's just it doesn't. You don't have to do anything, super different, in gameplay style if you do what you're doing extremely well. And this one does. Like, it's got a compelling story. It's got really good, visuals. It's got, the action elements are really good. It's got, interesting enemy types. The upgrading system is very cool in the way you do it. The collecting system and the way you have to go looking and find and look for certain things. And, it's when you wrap all these things into a game that it makes it compelling that you want to play it. Like, it's just a really, really good hook. It sounds a bit like Hubris Chrome Colossus. It's kind of got a bit of a feel of Hubris. I mean, maybe not exactly, but
It's
yeah,
got deeper. It's got deeper progression than Hubris has.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, for sure. And J Devil says, "Does your company work with Geno?" And no, we do not.
No.
Anyway.
God, I wish we did though, man. This would be an easy one to sell. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to remember, we don't work with any games that we don't think are good, right? Like, we don't we don't ever do that. We never take a game we don't think is good. So yeah, I wish we could work with them because this freaking game's amazing.
Yeah, this is a great game. And we do work with Hubris, by the way. So when I'm sitting here telling you that this is a deeper progression system than Hubris has in it, hopefully that carries a little bit of weight with you. So all the weapons are in your gloves, biological entities. And I've only played through like the first, what I consider to be the first level of it. I've gotten, I think 4 different weapons on my glove so far. One of them is just a regular like pistol style weapon. The other is like a submachine gun style weapon. But again, these are biological entities. So the pistol has a special weapon that kind of works like a grenade launcher. The submachine gun weapon, it actually is firing wasps out. So it has a special mode that throws a swarm out at the enemy. There's another one that's kind of like a grappling hook, where you just kind of grab the enemies and pull chunks out of them.
I love that one. I use that one more than anything else.
It's cool. I wish I had more range on it, but it's really cool to use.
I haven't gotten a chance to upgrade that yet. I'm hoping maybe that's a upgradable part of that one.
And then there's another thing that you get that's not even a weapon, but you fire. This is so cool. You fire this little capsule out, and the way it works is it does some sciencey magic, And whenever you fire this little capsule out, your body shrinks down and goes into it. So now Ruuts, like you're stuck in a room, you fire this little thing into a vent, and now you're the size of a cockroach in this massive world, scurrying through the vents, and then you come out in the room, and you can stay small if you want to, but then you can, go back to normal size if you want. It in all of this stuff, all of it's upgradable. You can upgrade your character, you can upgrade all of your weapons, and the way it works is like on a point system. You have to explore to find different types of items that give you different types of points, that give you different upgrades for different things. But it's one of these cool things where you have this upgrade tree, right? And if you don't like the decisions you've made in your upgrade tree, you can just hit reset, get all your points back, and start all over again with it. Ruuts, I've played this game the game says 2 hours. I've played probably closer to 3 when you consider all the times I've died. I just finished and found the first DNA sample, which I kind of consider the first level.
Oh, wow.
There's 8 more Ruuts.
Oh,
there's
Jesus.
8 more.
So so it's going to take Wes about 24 hours to get through this, but that's good. It may take people less. Now, was it J Devil was saying, you only played 1 level. He just ran to go buy it. Now I'm finding this out. Well, that one level is
not level
3
based.
hours. Yeah. There's no, he said
there's no levels here.
He would assume is the first level. Besides
this is a huge map. This is a huge map. It's not level based.
No, it's not level based. I say 1 level because to kind of put the end game, what I assume will be the end game in process, you have to collect 9 DNA samples from an absolutely massive map. And it's taken me about 3 hours of gameplay to find the first one. So I'm calling that the first level. There aren't levels, like Eric said. It's a big thing you have to work your way through.
Did you feel that it was non-linear? Because I felt I was taking different paths that I could choose where I wanted to go. So it didn't feel like you have to do this and go to this area, then you have to go to this area. Like, it gave me some options. Again, this map is huge, and there's different ways to get around the map. And it made me feel like, oh, I found that new area over there. I can go that way instead of going this way, and let's see what happens. So it definitely felt like it was more open.
So well, no, go ahead. I was going to jump the gun, but I'm going to I'll hold this question.
No, I was just going to say there aren't so many options in the first building. You kind of have to work your way through that. But when you get into the second building, it's way bigger, and there are options to the way that you go. So I went one way pretty hard, and ended up getting killed, and probably got moved back 30 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I love that part too. I love that this save points. That's what like Wes is talking about. And if you go far enough and you don't find another save point, you're gonna die, and then you gotta go all the way back.
People are gonna bitch, and then they're gonna have to add.
Unless you can unlock buffs though that give you a 50% chance of respawning when you die right there, so that you can keep going. There's stuff like that going on. But what I was saying is, when I went 30 minutes back to that save point, I went a whole different way and down a whole different corridor into a whole different part of the building. And I could tell I wasn't supposed to be there yet, because the enemies were a lot more difficult in that part. And I played until I got killed there again. And then when I started back at that spot, I went the original way again. But you're right. These buildings are massive, and it does kind of let you choose. Like I didn't even have to go into that building. I went into that first building I came to, but the path kept going. Like, there's more that you could go to. And it's a huge map. It's again, it's a narrative driven sci-fi action adventure game. And it really puts you in the mind of those old console games from like the PS3 era. Although I got to say, graphically, I mean, this is a very good looking game. It's a standalone game. And again, maybe it's updated for Quest 3 and it don't look like this on Quest 2. I mean, you could tell in some parts that it's a standalone game, but the textures and lighting
it doesn't even matter if 95% of it looks amazing and that the small percentage doesn't live up to par. It's the content that's there. Like, VR is an amplifier, good or bad. It's not magic. And if you put somebody in a really good game and the graphics are good enough, or actually what you guys say better, then you've got the story, you've got the progression, you got badass things like you're talking about, where you have a chance of resurrecting, 50% chance. Like, they've got so many compelling things going on in here, and this was out without Roots even going into this thing. I For some reason I couldn't get access to it. Somewhat weird, bizarre thing, but I want to go into this thing.
Yeah.
Because it has everything I want out of a game. I don't care if it's on standalone or not. I just want a complete, full-fledged game that is interesting, that's fun, that makes me think about it after I'm done playing. And this sounds like it. And now let's
I
talk
think you
about-
would love this game. This is your kind of game, and I think this it feels so far to me like it's got some depth that you're looking for. Like,
feels kind of like a flat game, don't it? It feels
does.
like a flat game, but
It
it's
does.
VR.
Yeah, like Philosic says, I have too many single player games right now to get through. I guarantee 3/4 of the single player games or more are not going to be anywhere near as good as this. This is what I would probably go to. I don't know if there's many more games I would rather go play right now than
How
this game.
big's the download? Do you know? Somebody's asking.
I don't even know. I didn't look. I just downloaded it.
But-
I downloaded it actually like a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't even look.
Listen to MASH.
This man legitimately thinks that he is better.
But being
than us.
actually able to download
I didn't play
a
it till
game,
Quest
you think
3.
you're better than me, MASH? I could download No, I can't download this game, but I can download any other game. Like,
this was one of the ones that
nobody's
I was like, I'm not gonna play this game early because I wanna. Yeah, not even on the Pro. Like, I wanted to play this on the Quest 3. So I waited, and I'm glad I did.
See, I waited till today. If I had like 3 or 4 hours, I wanted to get a good, nice, fresh impression. That fucked me, man. I shouldn't have waited till today, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I thought when we were in the last stages of trying to work it out, and there was like an hour and a half left, and I'm like, it's probably better that he waits than to just play an hour before he gets on the show, because it definitely gets better. It takes a while before you even unlock that ability to shrink down.
That is such a cool ability too, man.
Yeah.
Did you look for all the little spots that you can go through? Because there's stuff that you can find that has nothing to do with like you getting to a different area. It's just like a dead end tunnel, but it'll have like cool little loot in it that you can go find.
Yeah, there's loot everywhere.
Yeah.
There's also in one of those little crevices, I found one of those codes. So like,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
There's a code that you need for the end game, and it's broken up into bits and hidden throughout the facility. And you're right, there was just one little nook that I noticed, and I decided, you know what, let's just see what's down there. And sure enough, there was a piece of the code hidden down there.
Yep, same. I found it too.
So
somebody said it's 1.45, about 1.5 gigabytes. Awesome Tatum says, according to the store. And then somebody said 129 gigabytes. I don't think that sounds like a lot.
No, it's not 129 for sure.
That would be the entire Quest 3, the small end, right?
I don't know. I'm trying to look up on the
I'll look right now.
on the app and see if I can find out, but I'm not sure that it will tell me unless I put the headset on. Anyway, I don't care if it's a half a gigabyte or 20. It's an awesome game. It's really, really good. I thought it would be kind of cool because it looked kind of cool, but man, I was not expecting it to be as good as it is. It's only got 44 ratings right now on the store, which is crazy to me. But it is like a 4.5 out of 5 right now on the store.
So ratings. My question that I was going to jump the gun on is perfect right here. Is it worth the price of admission? What do you think? A $35 price point? Because a lot of people balking about it, but what you're describing sounds like it's deservedly $35, because $35, like you've said before, is really the old at least 30 or maybe even $24.95 as things keep going up, right? So
it's 1.6 gigabytes.
Oh, that's not bad, man.
So if this game continues to get better the way it has through the first part of the game, and it turns out to be as long as it feels like it's going to be, absolutely $35 hands down for this. I have no beef with that whatsoever. It's actually perfectly priced.
Yeah, I'm the same. I got 3+ hours in it, probably close to 4 hours, because same with me. I died a few times and had to go back. And I did a lot of exploring and wanting to find everything. And I've found the first, the first DNA sample, and I've probably gone another hour since then.
Okay. Deeper
So
than I am.
yeah, so I'm quite a bit in this already, and I have 8 more samples to find, and who knows, maybe you start finding them faster. But I mean, to me, I think it's the game is here already. Like I said, I've already spent 3 to 4 hours in it already, and I'm not even I'm probably not even halfway, and I'm just having an absolute blast with it. I couldn't recommend this more at $35, like for me right now.
That's just talking game of the year, dude, possibly. So that's a big thing to say, right?
I would put it. I would really put it. It would, and I would put it up there. Like, I would put it on the list. This is one of the, like, if this is one of those games that for game of the month, and we're like, oh, could this win game of the year? I'm saying it. There's a very good possibility. I would put it on the list.
Name a better standalone VR game that came out this year.
I'd have to. I don't know. I'd have to look at the list, but I don't think
Red Matter 2. Red Matter 2 was last year.
Yeah,
Walking Dead Saints and
what about
Saints and Sinners was last year.
DLC? Beat Saber DLC. No,
maybe.
No, you're right. There's not really isn't too much that's came out on this level. If we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, App Lab, you've got like Ghost of Tabor, but if you're going to consider App Lab, I mean, there's a few. There's not many.
People are really high on Dungeons of Eternity right now. I haven't
true.
played that one yet.
I played about an hour of it today. I went through the first dungeon, which is like the tutorial dungeon, which is freaking tutorial dungeon is a long freaking dungeon because I was running out of time. I'm like, I just got to get done. I don't want to like lose my spot. But that game is freaking awesome, man. You're gonna love that game.
Yeah, wife's been playing it today, and she's a big fan of it already.
The 3 of us need to get in here and play it. Like, we should stream it. Like, it's meant for 3 people. It's perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Vertigo 2 was this year Chrome Colossus, but Vertigo 2 is not a standalone game. Vertigo 2 is
that's Vertigo 2 for me it's going to be hard to beat on PC VR, and we'll see on the PlayStation VR 2 once it drops. Or actually, is it going to come out in time? When does that drop?
What are you talking about, Vertigo 2?
Yeah, because we're coming up on the deadline soon, right? Like
Vertigo 2 is scheduled to come out in 2 weeks, but they've been kind of quiet about it, so we'll see.
What's the deadline? Are we going to December or
December?
Yeah, December.
No, okay, I think December should be the deadline on it. I don't want to cut it off too early. So that is going to cut off at least one significant title that we'll talk about in a little while, but hopefully we'll have Vertigo before then.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out in 2 weeks, or next week even maybe. Spaced Innocent says Dungeon of Eternity is amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get in there and try that out. We're gonna have a very, very interesting game of the month discussion for October.
Yeah.
Because there's so many. Vertigo 2 is coming this month. The Foglands comes this month.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, Journey to Foundation comes out this month. The Seventh Guest comes out this week. We're going to talk about that in a little while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then again for the rest of the year, we've got Asgard's Wrath, we've got Assassin's Creed, we've got Arizona Sunshine 2,
Resident Evil 4.
I honestly, I think
who knows what else will drop.
I think despite the lack of first-party titles from Meta and Sony this year, that this is probably going to be the best single year for VR releases that we've ever seen. I think that's going to be a true statement. If everything comes out that's supposed to come out.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Anyway, this is a great game. This Genotype. If you like first-party narrative-driven games with action, with adventure, with tons of gameplay and tons of progression. I mean, there's 3 different like layers of progression. There's your gun. There's your crafting unlocks, and then there's like your character stuff. And the character stuff, every time you find one of these DNA samples, it unlocks a whole new level of stuff that you can upgrade. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so cool the way that they've done this. Again, it reminds you of an old school like console adventure game.
What was the thing?
Audio is great too
to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
audio is great. I mean, you hear all kinds of sounds and things moving behind doors and walls, and like it's really good. The voice acting, I think, has been well done so far. You kind of like listening to two different characters kind of communicate with each other. Seems really. I think it's not. You can tell it's voice actors and not like members of the dev team or something like that, because I think it's done pretty well. And then I don't know. One of the only complaints I had was, and I heard some people say the same thing online, was some people who made videos of it, so your hands pass through everything, but it didn't bother me in any way. I don't think.
That is true. That is true, and I meant to mention that. I'm glad you did because I forgot all about that. But yeah, your hands pass through everything that you don't interact with directly for the game. So like the books and stuff on the tables and stuff, your hands will go right through all that stuff. You don't notice it much because of the things that you can interact with. You can use force grab on, so you don't find yourself like reaching to grab stuff very much. Like you're just running through the game, and if you see something that you want to pick up, you just reach your hand out and pull the grab, and it just pops into your hand.
I would still rather have that. Okay. Then like all these worlds we go into and there's nothing to do and you're like walking through and you got really good physics, but the fucking world is boring and there's no progression and cool weapons and your hand and your glove, and I don't know, this just looks really cool.
Yeah, so Dan Kim, I think it was, said that there's a 30% coupon for this that brings the price down significantly.
Wow, really? 30%?
Yeah, mine says 25. Like there's a meta coupon out that's right now for like Explore, I think Explore 25.
That's still good.
And if even if you don't use that, I can put a referral code up for you in the Discord, which I'm about to do right now. And if anybody wants to buy it off our Discord, and $5 goes into the show coffers for each one of you that do that.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering, Eric, is do the headset referrals work? Like if somebody buys a Quest 3 on our headset referral, do we get credit for that?
I don't know that. That's good. That's a really good question. They haven't. I don't think they've really advertised that. Like it was for the Quest 2, but I mean, it makes sense that it would. I'm going to check into that.
That's a $30 discount for the people that use the referral.
A lot of people used it. I remember when that came out and people were buying Quest 2s. A lot of people used that referral, and they give you quite a bit of money. Man, that gives you $30 worth of games.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but don't the people that use the referral, don't they get a discount too, or no?
Yes, I mean, so you get $30 worth of games as soon as you get in and play, and then the people that gave you the referral get $30. And you can. I don't think it was limited, or maybe they limited it to like a few, like 4 or 5 a month or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Okay,
I'll have to check into it to see if they're still doing it. I'm not sure.
On the VR bargain bin in our Discord right now, I'm putting a referral link for anybody that wants to pick up this Genotype. So that'll get you 25% off of the $35 price tag right there.
There you go.
I'm thinking maybe I might have to get it because I can't access the one that's in the show account for whatever reason.
We'll figure that out. I tested out.
I can get you a key. I can get you a key.
Yeah, we could get another key for it for sure. But don't buy it. Whatever you do. Yeah. Anyway, it's good, and I highly suggest anybody that kind of has my similar taste of games check it out. By the way, shout out Paradise Decay. This is his video that we're watching here in the background. Nice. There's if you want to see some gameplay, if you want to know if this game is good for you, go watch PD's video, man. Like I'm sure that I don't know if he's as high on it as we are, but I got to imagine that he is. I mean, it's a very good game. So
I'm gonna finish this game for sure. I'll probably finish this game maybe this week. I'll be back.
Stream it, Mash.
I will if I can find some time. I will definitely do it. If I can find some time, I will absolutely do it. I haven't streamed it in a while.
That was my kind of big regret too of covering it today, is because now I want to keep playing it. Mm-hmm. Like I guess we could cover it again, like we're planning on doing with the Uncharted, but yeah. So maybe if we all end up loving it and playing all the way through it, we can review it later.
Which reminds me, Eric's got his new computer. How has Uncharted VR been, Eric?
I'm gonna try and get in this week for sure. I literally just got the computer back, and then like I have a couple. I just got my new memory, my NVMe. So Get that in, and I'll be ready to roll.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 4 terabytes.
So Space Nielsen wants to know how Dungeons of Eternity stacks up to Legendary Tales. Dude, Legendary Tales is great. I think they're rebuilding that thing, man, for Unreal 5. Or maybe they were going to, and then it turned out to be like more of a job than they thought it was going to be. So maybe they had to scale some stuff back. But for what I understand, there's some pretty heavy changes coming to Legendary Tales, but it's great as it is already.
I am not seeing anybody saying anything bad about Dungeons of Eternity, and every comment, everybody that's played it's raving about it, even your wife.
Yeah,
so
yeah, everybody says
it's just
good.
super polished. Like where Legendary Tales was a little bit of jank, this just seems, from what I played. Again, I've only played through for the first dungeon, but just seems everything was perfect. Plays really good. The melee is good. The combat's great. Seems pretty cool.
J Devil says, I just use your referral link. Thank you, J Devil. That's $5 into the Virtual Strangers coffers. That will be used to buy future review keys that we can't get sent to us, or giveaway keys, one or the other.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat says Dungeons is the shit. So there you go. Technoglitch says, can we have keys? Well,
yes.
maybe tune into the 2023 show, and I'll try to make sure this is one of the games that we have.
And the Room VR.
For. And the Room VR.
100 copies of the Room VR.
Yes, for PlayStation VR too. You heard it here.
There you go.
And it's all, and Todd said he was going to fund it all. So we'll get you.
Sweet. I love Todd. Thank God.
Yeah, Todd's awesome.
Scott, the PSVR Game Cat for Life, says, and I'd like to say thanks again for my 25 pounds PSN voucher Wes sent me. I bought Synapse
my God.
for 24 pounds on sale. Wow. Well, congratulations, Scott.
Right there.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's a good buy.
That's a good deal, man. I was thinking of that. You said, $5. Those $5 goes to buying these keys. That's the PlayStation people have kind of gotten the screw when it comes to keys for so long. That was like the first time they actually got some stuff of real substantial a price of that nature. I think it's cool. So
yeah, most of the people that won chose PlayStation as their platform. So we had 8 prizes we gave away for episode 200. 5 of them were PlayStation prizes, 2 Quest, 1 Steam.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Well, it tells you where everybody's at, right? Probably pretty much that's the lowdown.
That's 2023 VR so far.
Yeah,
it might change for the last quarter, but it's been a PSVR year for sure. Anyway, Genotype's good. Check it out. Again, if you don't want to take my word for it, go watch some videos. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there backing me up. It's very, very good. It seems like there's a lot of game here, and it's kind of like an old school throwback game, which I absolutely love about it. But while we're on the topic of standalone, why don't we talk about some more awesome standalone games that are coming later this year? So we're going to move kind of quickly here through the last few topics as we kind of droned on a lot with our impressions. I do want to hit a few news topics, though, this one being the first. This one coming from Twitter, and this is from the Dr. Beef Camp. This just came from the Twitter feed, I think, today. Let me make my screen bigger, and I can tell you for sure. This morning. On time for the scary season, we will unlock dynamic shadows today in Doom 3 Quest on MetaQuest 3. Doom never looked better on standalone VR. Also, keep an eye open for Quest 3 update for Prey by Lubos. And that coming from Dr. Beef, Grant Bagwell, Lubos Vaughn, and of course, the Flat to VR community. I'll also point out that in one of the replies, they also said recording the game runs at 72 hertz, 1848 by 1848 with shadows, which is a solid resolution bump from Quest 2. And I don't know if anybody's played this on Quest 2, but it looks pretty good on Quest 2 already. But they say alternatively, players can disable the shadows and raise the super sampling to pretty much max out the Quest 3 screen resolution 2064 by 2208. So basically, Eric, what they're telling us here is if we can go without the dynamic shadows that they just added, we could play Doom 3 at basically Reverb G2 resolution on a standalone.
That's freaking pretty amazing, man. Dr. Beef,
it's
and
awesome,
that whole
right?
team is kick ass. They do such a good job on standalone stuff. I'm glad they kind of focus on that stuff, man. It's so good.
And you know what, Roos? They mentioned that there's a similar thing coming up for Prey, which we haven't tried yet. We haven't tried Prey since they put it on Quest VR. I'm kind of glad we waited now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's on the list for sure. There's so many things for sure. I'm trying to get this thing fixed in the background, so
okay,
I
got
apologize.
Oh. And Doom 3 was already awesome on the Quest, by the way. I mean, now it's going to be freaking crazy.
Yeah, you know, still kind of the best way to play Doom 3 is the PC version. But there's a lot that goes into that. Like, it's not exactly the easiest mod to install, and even after you install the mod, you have to install a HD texture pack on top of it to really make it look super good. But the Quest mod is just super easy to install. So I remember when the Quest 2 mod was out, and then the PSVR version came out. I was kind of debating, you know, which is the better way to go, Quest 2 or PlayStation VR. And I eventually settled on Quest 2 for similar reasons to like what I said for Green Hell. Like the clarity was better, even though like the PlayStation VR the PlayStation VR textures had a little more detail to them. The Quest 2 version was a bit more clear. Furthermore, the scaling was off on the official PSVR version, and the scaling was good on the Quest 2 version. But now, you know, the one real noticeable thing that the PSVR version had was the way the shotgun handled and the way it sounded. Dr. Beef fixed that within 2 weeks of PSVR coming out on the Quest version. And now that we've got these dynamic shadows and super high res, I mean, this is probably the way to go, right? I mean, if you're a PC enthusiast who doesn't care to tweak, then sure, maybe you might want to go that route. But for those of us who like low friction, high quality, I think Quest 3 is probably going to be the way to play these mods now.
Yeah, agreed. I agree 100%. I think it's well, especially the way this one looks. And this is the thing we forget about Quest 3 or Quest in general, with the exception of that game we're just talking about, and it's not even on this level. This is AAA, and there's not many AAA games out there for Quest, right, on the mod wise. And Dr. Beef is doing amazing work. This is, I would say, like you said, because of the lenses, even more so, the better way to play it with the pancake lenses for sure.
Yeah, and there's still bugs on the PC version too. Like I got to a certain point in it and it crashed, and I had to like do some like really fucking convoluted thing to fix it. I don't remember what it was, but I had to go into the game files and like fuck with some stuff just to continue my gameplay on it. And again, that you don't get any of that on Quest. It's like console ready, right? You just install the shit and you play it.
Yeah,
it's super good. There was also another tweet from Team Beef, I think the day before. This one just more to do with in general. And it says, Dr. Beef is glad to report that all ports that he tested so far work flawlessly on MetaQuest 3 with a 30% increased resolution for stunning clarity right out of the box. So without them doing any work, Eric, all of these amazing looking ports already get a 30% bump just because of the Quest 3 being stronger.
And that's, I mean, you can see what's going to happen now with this chip. You know, with when you jump up in a chip and you're able to do these things, and the developers that want to work on them and want to take advantage of them are going to do it. And when we can get something like this from Team Beef, man, this is the stuff that you want to see. Like, I want to see how much support we get when we have all this new power. And out of the gate already, we have somebody who's doing basically modding, kind of leading the charge for the new headset. Love it.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, that means Doom. That means Wolfenstein. That awesome. Means see what else did they do? They just did Jedi Knight 2.
Jedi Knight, yep. Didn't they do
is Half-Life? Is that Dr. Beef as well? Half-Life, the original Half-Life?
Yeah. Wasn't there another one too?
They're working on
Quake. It was Quake too.
Quake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working on another Quake though, like one of the more recent ones, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they teased on Twitter today as well that they're working on something pretty significant that they haven't announced yet too. So
I never tried the Jedi one. Todd played it. He said it was really good, but I never tried it on.
Yeah,
myself.
I didn't either. Now I'm glad we waited, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I just wanted to shout out Team Beef and remind Quest 3 users out there that what's on the story isn't all that there is to play. There are also these awesome mods that you could dive into, and Doom 3 specifically is already being updated to take full advantage of the new hardware, and I think that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
Now, as I was saying before, one more standalone topic, and then we'll get back to multi-plat VR. But we've been following along with the dev logs for Asgard's Wrath for pretty much since they started coming out, and we recently got a new one that gives us a pretty detailed insight into what we can expect with this game.
We have a ton of great heroes in Asgard's Wrath 2 that each have really unique playstyles. You start with Abraxas, obviously, you've been introduced to him. We have Alvilda, who is a ranger who is kind of like this rogue assassin type character, and also Jehudi, who is an undead scribe. You quickly get introduced to Cyrene, who's your second playable hero. She's fully designed so that you can get a lot of distance between yourself and the other enemies and take them down pretty easily with her different, very cool living weapons. Because Cyrene's saga is all about balance and nature and restoring things, her floating weapons are these protean sea creatures. The first is the Seething Jelix. So this is a jellyfish type creature that she can throw into an area, and then it works as a turret. So it'll shoot out poison projectiles at anything that passes. If you have upgrades to your skill tree, you can also shoot a projectile at it from your harp, and then it'll explode, causing a massive AoE damage on nearby enemies. Her harp, which is shaped like a squid, actually can change into a shield if you have it on its side. But if you have it with the harp and the strings facing upwards, you can use it not only as a musical instrument to communicate to other creatures to solve puzzles, you can also fire projectiles at enemies. Her last weapon is her protean sword. Whenever you pull the trigger to use the sword, it'll spit out its tongue that's lined with these fangs. So she has melee options if you need to, but that sword also functions like a grapple. With Cyrene, you can be fluid and quick as you're going through your combat sequences. I'm sitting in front of the shipwreck, where you first meet Subira. You use your godly powers to help her and also convert her into a warrior follower. Subira is an awesome combat companion. She's really nimble and fast. When I'm fighting in combat, she's just a shadow moving around the corners and taking out enemies one by one. Subira has this really unique ability called shadow shifting. So she can shift these stones called Kavuli stones that you'll find throughout the space and make them go in and out of existence. When these massive stones are blocking your paths forward, she can shift them so you can move straight through them and get to an area on the other side. There's a ton of really cool ways to use her abilities, and she is an integral companion in Asgard's Wrath 2. The next follower you meet is Pa-Aket, the Falcon. He's very loyal, constantly talks about how great you are and how great the god within you is, which is very contrary to Subira, who's just with you because you helped her a little bit. Pa-Aket is more of a defensive, healing character. He's not as strong a fighter as Subira, but he has the ability to heal you in a way that Subira can't. You can upgrade his skill tree so that he's more balanced towards being a healer, or you can upgrade some of his combat options so he's a better fighter. Where Subira uses a lot of her shadow abilities in her combat, Pa-Aket uses a ton of his whirlwind abilities. You'll see him jump high into the sky when he's bringing his spear down to his enemies, or moving swiftly around the space and can quickly come to your aid to heal you in your battles. With his special ability, he can summon these whirlwind blocks. Once you hop onto them, you can control them just with your joystick. You can reach new areas, you can set them on levers so that they open up new paths. His ability is really great for navigation in those spaces. We completely revamped our entire follower AI system. The maps in Asgard's Wrath 2 are so big, you're gonna need mounts to get around these spaces. With Subira, she can shift into this massive panther that you can just hop onto and ride across the desert on. And with Pa-Aket, he can switch into a bird that you can grapple to and soar around the maps with. You can also use skill points for your followers. So as you use skill points for them, they have different buffs, but they also can unlock different finishers for them too. Those will be unlocked through your skill tree as you go through the game. Each of these followers are aware of how you're moving about combat and how you're moving around the space, which makes them feel much more reactive to the enemies. We also have an inspiration system. So as you do things that inspire and invigorate your followers, that meter will fill up, and then you can use it to do one inspiration ability. With Subira, it's actually a shadow stepping ability, so she can shift both you and her out of reality so that you are temporarily invulnerable as you're in combat. With all these different characters in the shape of mortal heroes or followers, we really wanted to think about all these different variations so that you can really tailor your combat and your Asgard's Wrath experience to your own playstyle and to your own needs. I can't wait for you to explore them all this winter in Asgard's Wrath 2.
All right.
Holy shit.
That was the perfect timing, man. I was like, I don't know if that's going to come back in time.
I thought I had more time than that. All right. So,
long trailer.
Yeah, that was a devlog that was published from MetaQuest this past week. And we're going to take a look now at a write-up on xrupdate.com. Meet the mortal heroes and companions of Asgard's Wrath 2. Sanzaru Games' latest dev diary, released this past Thursday, offers fans yet another look into the world of Asgard's Wrath 2. Oculus Studios senior producer Mary Kyle returns once again, this time to delve into the mortal heroes and animal warrior followers that players will encounter in the game. The sequel introduces a full cast of heroes, each with their own distinct playstyle. Players will start with Abraxas, and will later meet other characters like Avilda, a rogue-type ranger, Juti, an undead scribe. Each hero possesses unique weaponry tailored to specific tactical strengths. For instance, Cyrene, a river naiad, is designed around fluidity and movement, contrasting with Abraxas' strength and defense. Her arsenal includes living weapons like the seething Jelix and a harp that doubles as a shield. Asgard Wrath 2's followers have received an upgrade over those from the Oculus Rift original with improved AI and a new synergy system. This ensures that followers are always in sync with the player's actions during combat. Among the new followers, players will meet Subira, a panther companion, and Pa-Aket, a former hunting falcon. Each follower has unique abilities that can aid players in combat, puzzle solving, and more. For instance, Sabiro's shadow shifting ability allows her to manipulate Kavuli stones, while Paquette can summon whirlwind blocks for navigation. A new feature, follower inspiration, has also been introduced. As players fight, they inspire followers, filling up an inspiration gauge. Once full, players can unleash it to empower both themselves and followers with special abilities. Additionally, every follower can now transform into a mount, aiding players in traversing the expansive maps of Asgard's Wrath 2. For example, Sabira can transform into a massive panther, while Paquette can morph into a bird. Asgard's Wrath 2 emphasizes customization, allowing players to tailor their own combat experiences. And this I want to draw attention to, because this is the reason why I'm covering this update. Asgard's Wrath 2 emphasizes customization, allowing players to tailor their own combat experiences. Skill points can be used to buff followers and unlock different finishers, ensuring that each player's journey is unique. Mary Kyle concludes the diary with the final tease. With all these different characters in the shape of mortal heroes or followers, we really wanted to think about all these different variations so that you can really tailor your combat and your Asgard's Wrath experience to your own play style and needs. I can't wait for you to explore them all in this winter in Asgard's Wrath 2. Of course, fans can look forward to another deep dive next month. We'll explore Asgard's Wrath 2's various role-playing game systems, including crafting, hunting, cooking, and fishing. Asgard's Wrath 2 is currently set to launch on December 15th and will be included with every new purchase of MetaQuest 3. Of course, stay tuned to XR Update for more on Asgard's Wrath 2 as the and the now past MetaQuest 3 launch. I put this in here for you, Ruuts, because I keep hearing you say that
I don't like melee games.
You don't like melee games.
I have been saying a lot.
While melee is certainly still the backbone of this game, it certainly is not a precondition here. There are projectile, there are projectile weapons. There's magic, and of course there are the followers that offer quite a bit strategically to how you fight as well. I think this is going to be an epic adventure game, AAA quality for VR, and
can I fist bump the Falcon? You know who
can
else loves to fist bump the Falcon?
My mom.
Yeah, she does. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. Just the fact that each one of them turns into a mount that you can ride, I think is pretty cool and unique. I think that sounds pretty cool. Looks cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really, really good. Again, in terms of scope, Eric, they're saying that this thing, not only is it bigger than Asgard's Wrath, they're saying this thing's bigger than fucking Skyrim, which those are big words.
Yeah, I mean, number one, people are still playing Skyrim for how long now? But it definitely seems like it's going to be more open. Like when they're talking about like cooking and like fishing and other things, I mean, it seems like it's going to be more open than the original Asgard's Wrath, which was definitely more of like a set campaign style thing. So this game could be, I don't know. They've been working on this game for a long time. We know that. They bought the studio. They've done nothing with it except for this. This could end up being, this could be one of the best VR games of all time. Like literally, I think the team has that much of a pedigree. They know how to make games. It looks amazing. If it's as deep as it could be and the gameplay is great, I mean, I am so much looking forward to this game. I hope it's so good. I hope it's great. This will be a headset seller for sure.
Yeah. So this Ruuts is what should have been their MR system seller, right? This is their Quest 3 seller. So I'm hoping that it lives up to what they're saying. It does seem like they took the criticisms of the first game to heart, and they're putting things in place to kind of try to make a better game than they gave us the first time around, which, I mean, the first one's pretty amazing in its own right.
Yeah, well, that's all you can expect, right? They make the first one, and then they learn on what worked well and what didn't, and then they tweak it and make the second one even better. People in the chat are saying no one's beat Asgard's Wrath 1. I know specifically Spry Guy, I believe, has beat it. and I don't know about anybody else, but I'm sure there's a couple other people, but not many people. Usually the jail cell level usually stops people. So yeah, it's a lot of hours. It's definitely a very big game as well. And about halfway through, I just got I got kind of done. But this one looks better than the first one. So super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was Quest 2 and if it was Quest 1, if it was like early days of standalone, I think I would be more concerned. Because then it was like such a big gap between PC and what standalone could do. Now I'm not as concerned, but that doesn't mean I still wouldn't prefer a PC version. Like I really would love for there to be a PC version, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Mm-hmm.
They needed to not be. If it's really good, they need people to have to go out and buy a headset, right? So that's what they want. And you want people to buy your console. We don't fault Sony for it. We fault Meta. We say, well, it's bullshit. Well, Sony does it. They've got exclusives. So
check. Maybe they can hear me now. People were saying I was muted for a moment. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Can you guys hear him now?
Can we hear me now? We should be able to. My mic's moving.
Lip reading glass as best I can. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what he said. No, just kidding. How far back? And yeah.
Okay, so Technoglitch says yup, so I guess that means okay, I'm back. All right, good.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must have been an internet thing because actually we didn't. I stopped hearing you too. Did you, Mash?
No, I heard him the whole time. I didn't. I had no idea he was muted.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's going to be good. Of course, like I said, we would always prefer everything come to PC so we could really max out the graphics. But I don't think the graphics are going to look bad here. I think we're going to be surprised at how good they look. Might be a little concerned if I'm playing on Quest 2, and I don't have my Quest 3. Then that might be a problem. But I always kind of get a kick out of these PC guys that just scoff at this out of hand because it's not on PC and therefore it can't look quite as good as it possibly could. Like that doesn't mean that it's not going to be amazing.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah. Like we just saw Genotype, which wasn't the best looking game in the world, which was good looking game, but not the best looking game in the world. But the gameplay is what you guys were raving about. And so as long as the gameplay is there, the story, the progression, the everything, all of that stuff is there, then it doesn't matter if it's the best looking game. There's a lot of really amazing looking games on PC that suck dick. You know what I mean? Because they just suck. There's no game to them. So this could be really good. This could be amazing. It could be, mediocre. I doubt it will be. And I think it's 100. Because you sit here and you think, okay, Meta's good. Why would they had a platform before? Why would they not put this on PC? But they, like I said, it's their console. They want people to buy their console, the new one specifically. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it being on an exclusive for this, it's what they need. So
yeah, I think Sony's got a fight on their hands for the holiday with Meta coming out with Asgard's Wrath 2 and Assassin's Creed as a 1-2 punch. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is probably going to be the best of the three. But you're talking about selling headsets to people. Two's more than one. Hopefully, Sony gives us something else to be excited about before Christmas.
They have to. It's Christmas.
Speaking of Christmas, we could be having quite a holly jolly time, I hear.
just go right into this.
Bad.
No, that
My bad.
Yeah, I thought maybe there just wasn't a thing, so I didn't say anything. But yeah, that
No. I must have clicked the wrong link.
It's After the Fall 2 is coming this
Yes,
Christmas.
it's coming, guys. It's coming. No, wait, actually, what it is this Christmas, they're gonna fix all the bugs, Mash. You're gonna be able to do an actual what is that arena thing? I can't remember.
A horde run.
Yeah, the horde run. You're gonna be able to do a horde run.
God, I haven't played After the Fall in months. Probably 4 or 5 months. Feels like.
I played about a month ago. They fixed the horde run thing.
Did they
the
really?
way.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that wasn't supposed to be After the Fall. That was supposed to be Arizona Sunshine 2 because, as you can see on the screen here, A Christmas Miracle, Arizona Sunshine 2 apparently targets a holiday launch. VR gamers could be in for a real treat this holiday season as the highly anticipated sequel to VR's Gen 1 classic, Arizona Sunshine, looks to be targeting a release on December 7th, 2023. A recent update on the game's PlayStation store page might have unintentionally revealed the game's launch day, and if it turns out to be true, VR enthusiasts will have a nice Christmas gift awaiting them. Revealed this past May during Sony's PlayStation Showcase, Arizona Sunshine 2 is the sequel to VR's original zombie shoot 'em up. The cinematic first look showed the same kind of sun-soaked zombified landscapes that the original is known for. Players will once again assume the role of the game's dark-humored protagonist, navigating through post-apocalyptic Arizona while fighting off hordes of the undead. However, this sequel promises a new twist. This time, the players will be accompanied by a furry four-legged companion named Buddy.
Ooh.
More than just man's best friend, Buddy will serve as a capable companion when the path ahead becomes a bit more daunting. Developer Vertigo Games recently allowed select media and content creators an early preview of Arizona Sunshine 2, and in all cases, the demo received overwhelmingly positive feedback. Some of the more popular features that were highlighted were dynamic weapon reloading mechanics, a new crafting system, and of course, Buddy. The fear and anxiety surrounding Buddy's fate in the game was a common theme among previewers, and this will certainly provide a new twist to the original Arizona Sunshine experience. Excuse me. The team at Vertigo Games has been ambitious about the game's release since its initial reveal in May. They're planning to launch Arizona Sunshine 2 on all major VR platforms this year. However, should development face unexpected hurdles on any given platform, they've wisely reserved the right to stagger the launches to provide the best possible experience to all VR gamers. Today's news, or I guess Wednesday's news, or Thursdays or Friday's news, while likely accidental, only heightens the anticipation surrounding Arizona Sunshine 2. If the December 7th launch date stands, it could put a proper exclamation point on what may go down as the best year for VR releases that we've ever seen. As always, you should keep in mind that this date can and probably will change, but for now, the hype train is right on track. So, Ruuts this past week, ever so briefly, the Arizona Sunshine 2 PlayStation page changed from saying 2023 to saying December 7th, 2023. That's pretty exciting because I would have thought that if any of these platforms were going to get delayed, it would have probably been the PlayStation one because that's what normally happens. So I consider this a pretty good sign for those of us that really can't wait to play this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would make sense, right? Like that. Didn't this originally come out on the PlayStation OG, right? Isn't this? Yeah. So they're sticking to their roots, and it's the better, more, stable platform, I guess, to do it for than the Quest for sure. Especially with the Quest 3 launching, they probably want more Quest 3s out there. I would imagine it would make more sense. So yeah, I think it's super exciting. I can't wait to try it. And December 7th sounds good to me.
So Eric, we're going to be in December trying to get through Vertigo 2 and all of these other games that we're going to be trying to decide which one's the best. And then Arizona Sunshine 2 is going to come out one week, and the next week Asgard's Wrath 2 is going to come out.
Thank God when do we stop the shows?
Yeah, December.
Thank God we're taking our break.
So we're gonna and those aren't gonna be Game of the Year contenders. So this is actually bittersweet in a way. It's gonna take away from us from playing for the Game of the Year other titles, but we will be able to play this game and not really think about whether it's Game of the Year or you know what I mean. We'll be able to just enjoy it for playing it. It's just finding the time. I guess I would suggest live streaming it because that would,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough not to come out and talk about these games, right? Like, we're not going to have shows.
Well, if what we've done in years past holds, it's not that we won't have shows.
Yeah.
It's that we won't have a schedule. We'll come on and do shows when we feel like we need to do a show and we have the time for it. But starting at about Thanksgiving, we drop our scheduled obligations and we just come on, a handful of times between there and the 2023 show to kind of, get voting, get people voting for the categories, this sort of thing. And then, of course, talking about new releases as they come out. So, yeah, there will be coverage on this. I'd say gameplay streams are highly likely because I don't think any of us wants to wait until after we get back from Vegas to play these games, right? Like, we're going to want to try them out first.
Chrome Colossus, good point. Bulletstorm's coming too. Man, oh my God, I want that game so bad.
Yeah. Bulletstorm looks cool too. Yeah, it's going to be funny next year when we're talking about the 2024 game of the year, and most of the nominees came out in 2023.
Fall of 2023.
Anyway, super excited for Arizona Sunshine 2. I didn't want to spend a bunch of time talking about it, but I did want to share that little tidbit with people.
Did you see the super chat? Wally is now a game cat. $5 Canadian says, based on your contacts, how many units max has a game sold on PSVR 2? Really curious, are devs happy with PSVR 2 sales and ballpark unit sales? That's a good question.
It's been a mixed bag. Some people have had surprisingly more than they were expecting, and then others not as much as they were expecting. We have to keep in mind that this is a young platform that has maybe a million headsets out there, so nobody really expects to kill it right away on PlayStation. Like people understand that it's going to take a while for the platform to grow. But it's been about half and half, I'd say, right, Mash? People being pleasantly surprised versus people being disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, you would think it would mainly, especially if they're launching on both platforms at the same time, it would mainly be Quest because there's so many more headsets out there right now. But we have had some developers who have launched at the same time who have just done really well on PlayStation, more than the Quest. So it's tough to say exactly why that happens. Sometimes it's just one title resonates on a platform better than the other, and it's good to see that they're both viable and doing well. And you just got to remember a lot of this summer was like, it's like the pick the ugliest of the sisters. And it was nothing was great this summer anyway. So it wasn't like you're gonna pick one or the other and go, wow, that was just so much better. I mean, nothing was fantastic. It was just some were a little bit better than others. I think going forward in the fall next year, I think it's gonna really kind of like start to even out a little bit more as we see more titles from PlayStation and more headsets out there in the wild.
Definitely. But thank you, Waleed, for your awesome support this episode. It's been great. Thank you so much.
We were on long enough for PD to go to bed and wake up.
I knew it. I knew PD would be in here.
Oh, nice.
PD, tell people how good Genotype is.
Yeah, we showed your video, dude.
Yeah.
Segment.
Yeah, we showed your gameplay earlier when we were talking about it, and Eric and I both just absolutely love that fucking game.
I can't stand it because I wasn't able to play it. I just want to download it. Please, just let me download it.
Waleed says ballpark the max number of games sold. That's a tough one, man, because people don't really share a lot of that info, even with us, right? Like we have to pry people on it, and
then if you got it, you might not want you to throw it out there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they would care for us to anonymously put a number out, but I couldn't really do that with confidence. Like I don't really know what a good number would be right now. Like honestly, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry. Maybe I can look into that, and if I do, I'll make a mental note of it and try to bring it up at a later point in time.
PD says it's good, and he's also gave the devs some ideas to add to the game. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. And 12 the backlog Gamecat, same thing. Went to bed, woke up. Well, good morning. You're just in time for us to wrap up headlines and get into this week's reminders. And we're going to kick it off like we always do with What's Out This Week.
Old Man Stauff built a house and filled it with his toys. 6 guests came one night. Their screams the only noise.
And what about the rumors?
Eleanor, they're just that. They're rumors. Stauff has spent his fortune wisely. Never mind the smell.
Bit dreary in here, don't you think? Burden. Maybe you've seen me on Broadway.
Regrettably not.
Oh, I'm bored. I'm going to the kitchen.
Wait! We shouldn't go walking alone.
This is a game, nothing more. One of us is going to win that prize money. I say, every man for himself.
Nothing but queens.
Apparently, there's more to this than I thought.
No one came out that night. Not one was ever seen. But Old Man Stauff is waiting there. Crazy, sick, and mean.
Lots of good stuff coming out this week in the land of VR, as we can see here on the XR update release calendar. I think the star of the show, probably Ruuts, is the game we just looked at, though, right? The 7th Guest coming out this week.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I can't wait. Is that on Steam as well?
Yeah, I think it's coming to all platforms. Definitely coming to Quest and PSVR 2. I do believe it's coming to Steam as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can check and see if there's a listing for it on Steam.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now.
It is. I think it's on multiple platforms.
Yeah, I know it's on Quest and PSVR 2 for sure, but it's coming from Vertigo for sure. It's on Steam. For sure it has to be on there. But I got Steam up, I can tell you if it's got a page up yet. Store, home. Boom.
Philozic says, I played the 90s game a couple of weeks ago. Nice.
The 7th Guest VR. Yeah, it's coming to Steam as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love puzzle games. No, just kidding. I played the original back in the day, and I'm curious to see how good it is. GT says it's amazing, so looking forward to it.
But that's not all that's out this week. Tomorrow, Survivor Man VR hits Steam. The Descent. The next day, Tuesday, Tennis on Court comes to PSVR 2. And then on the 19th, which is Thursday, not only do we get the 7th Guest VR, Snow Wars is coming out. The Wizards Dark Times Brotherhood comes out, which is a free update to the Wizards Dark Times that adds in co-op gameplay. I think up to 4 players can play together now in the Wizards Dark Times, and there's new content for the co-op, which is pretty awesome. And in another free update, Zero Caliber Zombies coming on Thursday as well. So there's now a zombie shooter mode coming to Zero Caliber. Ruuts, have we got enough zombie shooters yet?
I think that's the last one. No more allowed. That's perfect. That's a perfect amount. I'm looking at Vertigo 2 coming on the 24th and Ghostbusters 2 days later. That's what I'm excited for. Those two the most.
Yeah, there's still a lot to come in that last week of October, man. It's just stacked, son.
Can't wait.
Stacked. Yep. Anyway, be sure to keep up with the XR update calendar there. We update it about once a week, so I'm not going to tell you it's up to the minute, but check it out on Monday. Every Monday it's it's up to date. So I did want to bring some attention to a release from last week, since we didn't do a traditional show last Sunday. I wanted to point out to people that Propagation Paradise Hotel came out last week, and you were talking earlier, Eric, about how different games land differently on different platforms. This game runs at 120 hertz natively on PlayStation VR 2, and I haven't tried it out yet. It is in our library, and I will be trying it out this week. But Brian did, and Brian said that this game is fucking stunning, and it's great. It's fun. He gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
On his review, which I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think I liked it better than either of you. To me, it was an 8. It was a solid 8, an above average horror game. But Brian absolutely loved it.
Right?
Did not like it.
You and I liked it pretty good, I thought.
To me, I thought, which now I'm definitely going to go in and look at it on the PlayStation, because I was one of the few people who didn't think it looked that good on PC. Like, to me, I thought it was an uninspiring kind of look. I wouldn't say it looked shitty, but to me, it didn't look as good as a lot of people raved about how good it looked, and I was like, it looks okay. I didn't think it was that great. But I thought the gameplay was not good. It was kind of boring, and it was short. But I mean, and the voice acting was terrible.
Now that I would agree with you on. The voice acting was pretty bad.
Yes,
but I thought the gameplay was pretty fun. Like, I like the fact that the zombies never die, and that you just knock them down for a little while. And if you got the higher difficulties on, like, you have to be real conservative with your ammo. And the maps are pretty big, and the rooms are all different. Like, I mean, there was a lot going on there with it. I liked it. It's not a 9 for me, but it was an 8 on Steam.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I beat it. I went and played through the whole thing. Gave it like a 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm curious how if it looks that much better.
Well, plus if Brian's giving it a 9.5 out of 10, I mean, it's got to be really good.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't give out a lot of 9s, that's for sure. Okay, I thought that was a question for me, but it wasn't. Anyway, yeah, that's out on PSVR 2 now, and I'm going to be definitely checking it out this week, so stay tuned for impressions. And with that, let's move on to some viewer comments. This from the last week on our channel. First of all, from last week's Game of the Month, we have a comment here from Jank Media. Let me zoom in so I can read it. I don't think that not pre-ordering games will solve anything. I mean, it will for the individual, because they won't have to part with their money. But games are still going to have issues at launch. Unfortunately, I feel like the patch trend is here to stay. I feel like the only viable solution is for developers to be transparent and give a heads up to fans in advance, especially with something like Hellsweeper. The game itself, outside of a few balancing tweaks and co-op server issues, played fine on launch day. It was smooth and the gesture controls worked. Developers need to get ahead of the potential backlash if they're to salvage the launch window narrative. It's a shame, but yeah, the studios have only themselves to blame, but the negativity from the VR community is tiresome too. That's why I like you guys more than any in the VR space. I feel like your critiques are totally fair, and you don't dwell too much on negatives. There's so much more to the VR space than negative things that are easy to dogpile on. We all know the issues. I don't want to hear people complain all the time, even if it is warranted. There's always something to appreciate, even if it's discussing a mod or an old game that you've been revisiting. Games are getting patched all the time, too, so discussing updates is valuable info for people to have, especially since those games are often on sale. So, thank you, Jank Media, for your comment there, and thank you for the praise. We do try to have balanced coverage here on our channel, and it is one of the things that I pride ourselves on, is calling it out when it seems like the space is getting too negative. And Ruuts there for a while. It seemed like the space was getting way too negative.
Yeah, and I think it's a tough place to be because like sometimes I feel like this space is not negative enough, or they're too soft in some respects, and that's why I kind of thought Anthony's interview was a little refreshing. It was kind of like a wake up call in the sense of saying, okay, we may not be exactly where we all are in a bubble to some extent.
I agree with that. But I will say this, and Main Fan pointed this out multiple times in the comments, and I think it's something definitely worth noting, is that Anthony hasn't played anything for 3 years. Like, he hasn't played any mods. He hasn't played any mods.
True.
At all. So while it was refreshing to kind of get an outside perspective, his knowledge base is not up to date, so to speak.
Right. But I agree with this person and disagree in a sense as far as I think withholding the pre-orders does a lot more than just save the person money, which is actually really important, so you don't get screwed out over when it comes to that kind of stuff. But it puts these devs, obviously they want the pre-orders, some of them a lot more than others, to the point where they'll do shady stuff, kind of pigeonhole their people into buying their games, even though they know that there's a problem with it. And so like if enough people stop pre-ordering, then maybe the devs will start to take it a little bit more seriously, start, getting ahead of this, doing exactly what you just said. So I think it does do more than just save money. I think it's like a 2 or 3 or 4 part solution.
I think it's a 1-part solution, and it's called Sony giving people fucking refunds. That's the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%. And it would actually make people feel better. And Sony, you're not going to let them take advantage of it. Like, if anything, Sony's going to be one of those people that you do it 2, 3, 4 times. That's it. You're done. Like, if you get too out of control with it. So.
Yeah. But people know they got to come correct when they come to Steam, because those guys are on a hair trigger and they'll get their money back quick if it ain't right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sony's definitely behind the times with being consumer friendly. I mean, not only are there no refunds, there's no written reviews on the PlayStation Store. It's just like, it's invisible, right? Like, you have to go to YouTube if you want to know what's up.
And that's kind of weird too. Is like every other, and I get it. Like, review bombs suck, but you're taking the voice of everybody, and a lot of people rely on those reviews.
Yeah.
So,
Stevie Dan says, what I'm liking about Quest 3 is that all my Quest 2 apps will play on it. I have so many PSVR 1 games I can't play on PSVR 2. That's really disappointing. And Eric, we talked a little bit about this earlier. I think that's one of the big reasons why nobody's complaining about the games on Quest 3, even though there are no Quest 3 games. It's because that back compatibility is worth a lot.
It is. I mean, just could you imagine? It's like we talked about. Can you imagine if PlayStation had that library right now? I mean, even with the drought of games and some of the games that weren't that great this summer, nobody would say anything right now because they'd still be playing some of the best games that there ever was. I mean, they'd be playing Farpoint and Blood and Truth and Astrobot, and they wouldn't even think about Green Hell or any of these games that weren't that great. Yeah, I mean, it's people would be freaking out right now, and their library would be so big with those other bangers that came out right around launch. I mean, it'd be a completely different story right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the people that have the Quest, like Zell 2318 says the zombie update loses Quest 1 support and it wasn't cross-buy. They're a little bit salty. Because if you have a Quest 1, you're losing stuff. And that's only been a few years. I mean, we're all ready to say, yeah, we need to cut the ties. I'm right there. I've said it several times. But Quest 1, it's only been, 4 years? 3 years? No, 4, I guess. That's crazy. And it just feels like a lot of games are just taken away from us lately. Digital games that they shut servers down. And it feels like sometimes we don't really own any of it.
Yeah, I would be a bit salty too if it weren't cross-buy. Like that's pretty fucking shitty. It's not. I'm not upset that it's losing Quest 1 support. Like that's an old platform. I get developers moving on from it, but you got to open up that cross-buy, man. Bring those players with you. You can't just fucking. You can't fuck people like that. So yeah, I'm with you there for sure. Philosix with an awesome drop after the fall deluxe edition on Steam.
Deluxe.
In the chat, grab it quick, people.
Well, yeah, you get some special skins and stuff in the game with that deluxe version.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Thank you, man. That's awesome. Staff and stuff. This is from the Here They Lie playthrough this past Friday. It says this was really amazing. Thanks, Wes, Eric, and all the devs. Here They Lie is a piece of art. One of the first games I played in VR exactly 7 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't agree more. That's just it, man. Like it's a piece of artwork, more than a game. Like there's some, sure you can die in it, and there's some stealth sequences, but it's all about the journey, and it's all about what you get out of it. And for those paying attention, there's quite a lot there to get. And the last comment, I think, also comes from that same video, Gray Matter, which, by the way, Gray Matter sat through my playthrough last year. Gray Matter there again this year. Says it's so awesome for Corey and the rest of the team members to join in for this playthrough. Their insights were really awesome to have, and I'm glad they got to see how passionate some people still are for their incredible and underrated, underappreciated game. Thanks for streaming this again, Wes. Hopefully by next year or the year after, you'll be streaming a PSVR 2 or a PC VR version. I just bought a physical copy on eBay, and I'm going to play through it for like the 5th or 6th time when I get home in a couple of days. That'd be a cool little keepsake to have, right? Like the physical version. There weren't a whole lot of those, or I haven't seen a whole lot of them anyway.
Do you have one?
No, I don't have the physical one.
Man.
I've just got the digital one.
I'm gonna reach out to Corey for you and ask him to send you one signed.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
Did you finish the game that night? I left. It was like It was almost 2:30. It was almost 3:00 when I left.
Yeah, I finished the game. 3 more hours.
And Corey stayed with you the whole time?
3 more hours, and he stayed and rolled credits with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and all the devs in the chat too. They all.
So it was it was at 5 a.m.
It was 10 minutes till 5 when I finished.
Wow. Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Amazing that they did that for me. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, as excited and as elated as I was about it, like Corey legitimately seemed like he was even more blown away than I was that we were even doing it. So
yeah, all the devs that were in chat. I mean, there was devs there from Eyes Out that weren't even involved with that game were there and excited to see you go through it.
Yeah. I was surprised, man. Like, again, Eyes Out's a very unique project. It's a collaboration between Corey and Robin Fink from 9 Inch Nails. It's going to be a big deal when it launches, and the fact that these people, you know, he came from some kind of an event that he went to in LA home so that he could, you know, be there in time to do this with us. It's just fucking awesome, dude.
That is awesome.
Yeah. It's that time again, friends. It's time for us all to do our duty and support the developers out there by wishlisting a title. And this week I have decided to wishlist Arizona Sunshine 2. You'll notice when you go to wishlist it on the PlayStation Store that the date's been changed back. Now it just says 2023 again. But I'm excited for it. I haven't wishlisted it yet. You can wishlist whatever you want. You know, it's all about supporting the studios. But if you want to wishlist Arizona Sunshine 2, you'll find a link to the PlayStation page in the description down below. And right now.
I'm adding it to my Steam wish list.
There you go.
That's my platform of. I want to see that on the sharpness of the lens pancake.
I am wishlisting Foglands.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's how you actually said that.
Oh, I can.
That's more very.
I can pre-order it actually.
Really?
You don't even have to list it, so you can pre-order it.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna pre-order because I think we're gonna get it, but I can't wishlist it.
We learned a lot more about Foglands in the recent weeks. Even Brian did a developer interview with those guys, and
did he?
That game looks cool. I mean, it looks really cool. It looks like it has a lot of what we liked about Light Brigade in it, but it's going to be a more diverse game. Like there's more to it than what we had with Light Brigade.
Is this going to be a flat game too?
Yes,
because it says PlayStation VR 2 optional.
Yes,
I did not know that.
Also be they just revealed that like a few weeks ago. It's going to be on PS5 flat as well.
Wow.
Yeah, hybrid game.
So yeah, that's one of the first ones that we've seen, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple, but yeah, I mean,
not many.
You know, Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo 7, but no, there hasn't been a lot. You're right. So yeah.
You have PlayStation Plus. You can pre-order it and save right now. You get it for $31.
I'm buying it. Oh wait, I can't. No pre-orders. Damn it.
Is that a pre-order bonus, or must be just a PlayStation Plus bonus?
Yeah, they typically run the pre-order / launch week bonuses with PS Plus, and they normally run for about a week after launch.
Yeah, this one is going to offer ends 10/31.
That's the launch day, I think, isn't it?
Halloween.
Yeah, I think it comes out on Halloween.
I will definitely be playing Foglands.
Oh, 100%. And with that, friends, we come to our final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel, our community, and all this stuff we like to do around here. Of course, the most important thing that you can do is to click the things. Subscribe, ring the bell, like the videos. This is what kind of puts us on the algorithm map. So if you haven't clicked all the stuff yet, please consider doing so. If you have clicked the stuff and you want to do a little something extra, you can support us on Patreon. $3 per month. That's all we ask. And in exchange for that, we give you our weekly show notes. We give you insider updates. We give you exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And you get your name in the little scrolly thing at the end there, too. When we say goodbye every week, we thank our patrons in the outro. You get your name in that as well. Which, by the way, I think we had a new one this week, did we not?
Nice.
Yeah, we had a new one. Let me
got a Slippy.
bring it up here. Yeah, right. Well, we just lost one recently, so I was wondering who was going to come in to fill the one that we lost. And the answer to that question is Focal Point. Thank you, Focal Point,
nice.
For joining the ranks.
Me too. Let's just say that, man.
So yeah, thank you to everyone that's supporting us on Patreon. We've been leaning on it heavily recently, buying a lot of keys. I mean, we just spent $200 out of it for the giveaway.
That was
on
worth
episode 200. Absolutely worth it. But we've been buying games too to play. Like we've got Hellsweeper on multiple platforms, and everything that we play that's modded comes out of that. I even bought Dungeons of Eternity today because those fucking. I'm not going to say the devs because the studio was cool, but the PR people are being difficult. So we went ahead and bought a copy of that today too, so we could play it.
Ash, your background
Me too.
Is shaping up and looks super cool.
It's getting there. I add like a piece like every day. You know what I mean? I got some lights back there now. The wall's done.
Yeah.
The headsets are up. It'll get there. I have my you can see. I got my.
Your shield. There it is.
My shield is there.
Nice.
But yeah, I got it. Every week it'll get a little bit better. I got something special coming, hopefully in a couple of weeks to go up there.
That's like the neon. Looks cool.
Yeah, neon's cool. Got my colors. Getting there. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks good. And of course, if you don't have money to support us, we certainly understand that in today's economy. That's why it is 100% free to join us on the Virtual Strangers Discord. This is where we live. 24/7, 365, lurking in the background, just waiting on somebody to say the wrong thing so we can pounce in and jack these motherfuckers up. No, we don't do that. It's typically a pretty cordial place where we debate the topics of the day. We share music, we share laughs, we watch perpetrators run from the police. This is what we do on the Virtual Strangers Discord, and you can too. There is an invitation in the description down below when the lights are on for you. So as soon as you come through the door, you will be greeted, I assure you.
Yep.
And with that, friends, episode 201 is in the books. I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Eric and Ruuts, I'm Wes. We will see you probably Friday, maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow.
Stay easy.
See you later.
Bye.